Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. Summer is here, which is the ideal time to let the sunshine in and brighten up the house. Make those rooms that may appear small, dark, or dingy look better and bigger with larger windows or patio doors. Our highly skilled installers can enlarge openings if your space allows. For decades, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Marvin replacement windows and doors can also bring your backyard right into your living space. Ask us about connecting the inside to the outside. Since 1969, our professional services, along with the best products and installation, are why we are proud of our great online reviews. Need new windows now? Buy now, pay later with 0% financing for 18 months. Terms and conditions apply. Visit woodlandwindows.com and schedule an appointment today. That's woodlandwindows.com.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads on the inbound Edens. It's wide open, 16 minutes in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. Already 28 minutes in on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. That's due to construction, though. 3 left lanes slowing things down from Fullerton to North Avenue. Outbound side, that slows Nagel to Harlem. Again, road work blocking 2 of the right lanes. On the inbound Eisenhower, no complaints. Stevenson looks good between 355 and DuSable Lakeshore Drive. On the inbound Ryan, that's fine from 95th Street on in. Skyway is open. I-57 and the Bishop Ford all clear. DuSable Lakeshore Drive moving quickly, both north and southbound. Tri-State, Jane Addams, Reagan, and the Veterans Memorial are fine. Traffic is a service of In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr. Now heard on Sunday morning at 6:30 on AM 560. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His Word each Sunday morning right here, AM 560 The Answer. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
For today, humid with clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
What a waste of time, money, and vacation days. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. And if you've had a bad knee or hip replacement surgery, you know exactly what I'm talking about because sometimes the surgery doesn't even work. But there is an alternative, QC Kinetics. Check it out before you go under the knife. QC Kinetics uses your own body's properties to repair damaged joint tissue due to arthritis or an injury. Folks, it's regenerative medicine. Think about it. If you cut your hand, it eventually heals. But don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself with a free consultation. And what's really cool is the fact that Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, the National Medical Director and former orthopedic surgeon, is located right here in the Chicago area. Call now to end your chronic pain and learn more about QC Kinetics. They have new locations in Gurnee and Crystal Lake. Saturday appointments available. The number to call is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Honey, have you seen our roof after that storm last night? I think we need to call someone.
Don't worry, we got the shingle company on speed dial.
But I keep hearing in the news recently how dangerous sloped roofs can be. Our home in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point.
Well, the shingle company isn't afraid of any sloped roofs. Their safety record is spotless, their warranty unmatched, and they offer a low-price apples-to-apples guarantee. Besides, it costs us nothing to get a quote.
The Shingle Company, your local roofing experts who handle even the steepest of slopes with ease. Whether it's residential or commercial roofing, they've got you covered. With 3 generations of building experience, they're also experts in siding, gutters, windows, and more.
I am so glad we called them, and I can't believe our insurance covered practically the whole project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plus, I love that they're proud supporters of AM 560.
Visit the Shingle Company today at shingleco.com. Again, that's shingleco.com.
Come on! on with this, people. Move it!
Did you really think you could make that company deliver yourself?
Oh, I cannot handle any more traffic.
You could be getting much more done at your place of business.
I've wasted 45 minutes and now this place is gonna close.
Time is money. Let Quick Delivery Service take on the traffic hassle for you. They'll deliver almost anything, from large pallets of materials to important documents, or both. No forms, no labels, no scanning. Just tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going, they'll pick it up, and get it to your destination quickly. Your cargo delivery is tracked in real time with GPS. Notifications are delivered right to your inbox. Visit QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. Or you can deliver like this.
Seriously, another train?
Or get your delivery there on time with QuickDelivery.com. Or call 847-534-2244. 847-534-2244.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Dennis Prager weekdays at noon Eastern, followed by Jay and Jordan Sekulow at 2. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Xumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Xumo. An informed and educated citizenry is the only guarantee to preserve our constitutional republic. And each week, you'll hear from experts, not pundits, and find out what's really happening, from local issues to national politics. Listen to The Real Story with Jeannie Ives. There's no topic of public policy concern that she won't talk about. Stop the lies, learn the truth, join the conversation. Sunday night at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is former ABC7 political reporter Charles Thomas. Charles?
Yours truly.
Charles,
and,
yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll roll out the ball and have some fun. So I haven't spoken with you since the DNC.
Right.
And you were right there in the eye of the storm, so I wanted to get your perspective and give you a chance to compliment everyone on another successful week in Chicago.
Well, you know, I left town.
Oh, well, there you go.
I kind of got out of Dodge for those days, but I watched intently from my perch elsewhere.
Yes,
and
undisclosed location.
Undisclosed location, and I thought that it was, it was a joke. There was no substance whatsoever. I wanted to hear a conversation about the economy, about foreign policy, and I didn't hear that. And I thought that the business outside of the convention, the demonstrators, I think that it may have happened, but I don't think that mainstream media made much of it, because I don't think mainstream media was very interested in showing the division in the Democrat Party at this point.
Right.
And I there were arrests. They could have done a lot what was there.
There were 6 or 7 dozen arrests, I think, throughout the week. I mean, that was what was reported.
That's what was reported. It looked a lot worse than maybe it was, but
it's also the expectations game, right? You expected the city. The expectation was the city could go up in flames, and that didn't happen, largely because you turned the footprint of the DNC into East Berlin, and you had overwhelming police presence, which is sort of instructive, one might say. Overwhelming police presence in an area where there could be potential problems. Gee, there's a concept.
Well, there could have been reporters standing out there with them, and they could have been switching back and forth. But I don't think they wanted to do that. I mean, I don't think there was any desire to show, to basically give life to the whole pro-Palestinian mindset. That I think the media, mainstream media in general, stayed away from that.
Well,
they just didn't want to go there because they knew if they did that and they showed people being arrested, they'd also have to tell the story of why they were out there.
Well, and to your point, it was intended to be a celebratory. We're going to celebrate Chicago. Obviously, the press corps here, the political press corps, are homers, and so it's all put a fresh coat of paint on Chicago, clean up the detritus on the streets, move migrants from here to out of camera view, move homeless from here to out of camera view. Let's help the Democrat Socialist Party put forward their best foot, and there we go.
They didn't show though. They didn't tell those stories. I mean, there could have been stories told about illegal immigration throughout the convention.
Yeah.
But they did not tell those stories. There are 50,000 people, recent arrivals, in the city of Chicago, and those stories could have been told, but they weren't told. I didn't see them told the way they could have been told, and held this party accountable for its role in what has happened over the past 3.5 years. They just did not do it.
What have you done since Michelle Obama exhorted you to do something?
What have I done?
Yeah, what have you done to do something?
I've sort of redoubled my effort, my own belief that there has to be a change in Washington, that at this point, the candidate that they have put forward is, to me, in my mind, what has she ever done? Is she qualified? That's the question. Is she qualified to lead this country at this critical juncture?
I think she's
in its history.
I understand she's overqualified.
She's overqualified?
Overqualified. She was a former prosecutor. She was a former attorney general. She was United States Senator. She's the vice president. She has titles that would lend one to believe that she's overqualified for the job.
But that's what she is. She gets titles. She gets a job, and then she stays there maybe a term and a half, and then she moves on to the next level. But what has she done? What can you point to? What is the great accomplishment of Kamala Harris? I don't know what it is yet. I haven't heard that yet. And we haven't heard from her because she doesn't speak to the press.
Tonight's the big night. Tonight's the big night. She's taping an interview.
Yeah, she's got this.
It's exciting.
This set-up interview, and it's going to be edited. And boy, I don't trust CNN to edit.
Boy, if you
anything.
can't trust CNN,
boy,
Bush.
I mean, but it's going to be edited. It's not going to be live, and she's going to be sitting there with the man holding her hand.
Chaperone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, you mean to tell me the first female presidential nominee from a major party can't do it on her own?
Well, technically, Hillary Clinton was a female. I'm technically
nominee.
Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Yeah, but in 2016, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. For
technically, no. I mean, I know scholars debate whether or not.
She can't. But Hillary didn't go out there with her vice president.
No. She did interviews all by herself.
Right.
She put on her big girl pants.
I mean, she's going to have to she's going to have to be the commander in chief. That's the frightening part. My God.
Your reporter's intuition, and you've been through the battles and many a convention as a reporter and just as a citizen. I mean, what's your intuition as to whether or not you think the race has changed substantially since she got in?
I don't think it has.
Yeah.
I do not think it has. I think it will, or it could, depending on what happens on September 10th, because that will be the time that the country will be able to see exactly who the Democrats have nominated here. I don't think they had a choice. They had to go with Kamala, because then that would have made them look, if they had taken Kamala out for a Gavin Newsom or an Andy Beshears or Josh Shapiro or whomever, but a white male candidate, that would have been it for the Democrat Party. I can guarantee you that black men are already gone, but black women would abandon the party, and their base and their strategy over the past 30, 40 years would be done, because if they had done away with Kamala. So they got to go with her, because she does have she has on paper a pathway to victory.
Mm-hmm.
If she's able to turn out black people, black voters in the cities the way Barack Obama turned them out in 2008 and 2012, and if she's able to turn out women voters voting on the abortion issue the way they voted during the so-called red wave that never happened election in 2022, if she's able to get those women out and get those black people out, she can win. I'm telling you, but I tell you, I don't see her doing that with the black voters. Certainly, she's not going to do 95% in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Detroit and Milwaukee. The way her pathway would dictate, she can do it. And whether or not she can get white suburban women out the way they came out in 2022 remains to be seen. But I think even I think the economic issues at this point are trumping, no pun intended, the abortion issue. If suburban white women really think about where they are economically right now, that's how I would handicap the race at this point.
Mark and Rochelle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just want everyone to remember that the media couldn't show anything really negative or any of the police lineups and stuff for the protesters, because this is a campaign of joy, remember?
Yes, thank you for reminding us to maintain that vibe.
Yeah,
the vibe.
Seriously, do you really think with Ukrainian troops on Russian territory and the Middle East and the situation it's in, and as Donald Trump said a few days ago, we're on the brink of World War III, and they're talking joy?
Put on your happy faces. Rich in Indian Head Park.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning.
My question to you guys is this interview tonight with Harrison Walls. Are we going to really hear anything about policies that are going to make this country better for everyone? Or are they going to go to policies like abortion and that type of thing? Are we going to hear anything that's going to tell us that they're going to secure the border and do something to make the economy better? Just asking you guys what you think.
Thanks for the call, Rich. Well, I said this yesterday, so I'll briefly repeat that there's two reasons for a D.C. press corps candidate, a cipher for the new Bolsheviks, to do an interview like this, and why she hasn't needed to to this point. One is if you're going to be feted with celebratory coverage of some sort of alleged accomplishment to advance your flag. Two is if you're on somewhat shaky ground and you need help transitioning to more stable ground. And that's why the interview is happening tonight. How do we transition from shaky ground to stable ground to prove up I've got the chops, to tamp down some of this chatter about me ducking and not being able to stand on my own 2 feet and hiding from the media and so forth. So let's get a friendly to transition, not to mention the flip-flops. Let's run through a little bit of the flip-flops, do some September 10th debate prep where Dana Bash will say something about you, You used to say, I will never vote for funding for a border wall, but you support hundreds of millions of dollars for a border wall now. You supported the ban on electric vehicles by 2040. Now you say no EV mandate. And she'll have canned answers, and Tim Walz will prop her up as needed. Coach. She's got Mick in the corner. And then Dana Bash will move on to those other issues. I mean, they're not going to stay anything where she really has to be pinned down. It's all sort of a dress rehearsal for the debate and giving Kamala the opportunity to start putting previous positions behind her and embracing the position she has now, at least on the surface, just like she's putting the administration she's a part of behind her. And now she's a new, fresh candidate who needs to change what's going on in Washington.
Dana Bash is a swamp creature.
No question.
No, without a doubt. I think she was married to a lobbyist or something like that for many years. That's her name, I think, came from her first husband, her ex-husband. That's his last name. And
Sorry,
he
those
is
two
a
didn't make
lobbyist,
it. Yeah.
lawyer, lobbyist of some sort in Washington, and she is a swamp creature. But I will say this, that her career is on the line at this point in terms of her credibility moving forward. Maybe not on the line at CNN, but I think a lot of people who have spent a lot of time in this profession over the past 50 years are watching this to see exactly how she handles it. How does she find the middle ground? A lot of us old school journalists who used to do this the way we were taught to do it back in the day, as they say, we'll be watching very closely to see how she plays the game.
Well, we'll pick that up on the other side and then and fold in to some of the stories story topics that were not covered during the DNC, as you were pointing out, including the state of America's plight with people in this country illegally preying on people who behave legally. Now we check the headlines with Crystal Blue.
Good morning. It's 71 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Crystal Blue in the AM 560 newsroom. Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 83. Thornton Township Supervisor and embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Haynard is addressing the public. Haynard spoke last night despite a special meeting of the Thornton Township trustees being called off. She's slammed recent actions by trustees to limit spending and enact a new credit card policy, claiming the moves have halted township services. Haynard has been under scrutiny following a series of controversies, including allegations of corruption and multiple investigations by local and federal agencies. One passenger is hurt after a plane heading to Chicago hit severe turbulence. Officials say the person suffered an injury yesterday on a United Airlines flight headed to O'Hare Airport from Cancun, Mexico. The flight was diverted to Memphis, Tennessee, and the paramedics took the passenger to the hospital. The plane continued to Chicago, and the FAA is investigating the incident. The Hard Rock Casino Rockford is set to open to the public today. Governor Pritzker will be on hand for the grand opening. The new 175,000-square-foot casino resort will feature about 1,300 slot machines, 44 live table games, including a poker room, a sports book, 6 restaurants, and a Hard Rock rock shop. News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO or FEP, you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Learn more and check if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will meet on the debate stage for the first time on September 10th. And AM 560 is throwing a debate watch party, and we want you to join us. Join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and fellow AM 560 listeners on Tuesday, September 10th at Moretti's Unique Events in Hoffman Estates for a buffet dinner, followed by the debate. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
If you own or run a business and you listen to AM 560, you might not realize that the conservative programming that you enjoy is supported by advertisers. Our loyal listeners love to do business with the advertisers they hear every day on AM 560. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some businesses who avoid advertising with us because they don't like what we do here. And that's okay, because our audience wants to support businesses that support what we do and think like we think. We would love to have you join the list of successful companies who are already reaching new, like-minded customers. Most AM 560 advertisers have been here for years for one simple reason: they get results. Join our efforts to make a difference in the lives of our listeners who are passionate about supporting our great family of AM 560 advertisers. To learn more, just visit 560theanswer.com/advertise. That's 560theanswer.com/advertise.
There is a place in northern Illinois where people have received large sums of money for a handful of old change.
That's right. Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Naperville pays big cash for old coins. Many places buy gold and silver. Fox Valley Coins does that too, but they pay more for the rare ones. A true story. Recently, a lady came in with a pouch full of old silver dollars. A few better ones, but most were run-of-the-mill, and they added up to a few $1,000s. But for one silver dollar, Fox Valley Coins offered $4,300. She had no idea and was shocked.
An honest coin dealer. He actually pointed out the rare ones? Fox Valley Coins buys and sells with free verbal appraisals. Just north of I-88 on Route 59 in Naperville. FoxValleyCoins.com. Over 40 years of family-owned integrity.
On August 30th, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world. We have just forgotten it.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Reagan in theaters Friday, August 30th. Rated PG-13. May not be suitable for children under 13.
Right now, Bettenhausen has 0% on new Jeeps. Hurry in! It's the Labor Day sales event at Bettenhausen Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Now open on 159th Street in Lockport. Bettenhausen has 0% financing available on new Jeep Cherokees, new Jeep Wranglers, or new Jeep Compasses. Hurry into Bettenhausen in Lockport. Your best Jeep buying experience starts now at Bettenhausen. Choose from over 700 new vehicles. Showroom open 24/7 at cdjroflockport.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak, taking a look at the roads still wide open on the Edens. It is a 15-minute trip from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. The Kennedy, not bad as you make your way in from O'Hare to downtown. Inbound Eisenhower 25 from 390 into the post office. Stop and go traffic independent to Kedzie. Inbound Stevenson 21 minutes. 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. That is tight Ashland into the Dan Ryan ramp. Speaking of the Ryan, you're flying from 95th Street on in. No need to worry. Skyway is fine and I-57 looks good. Bishop Ford is also clear. DuSable Lakeshore Drive running smoothly in both directions. No delays along the Tri-State. Jane Addams Veterans. Those are clear in westbound 80 Tight Larkin to Hobolt. Traffic is a service of Blue Star Security. Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you and your business. Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Humid today with intervals of clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is former ABC 7 political reporter Charles Thomas. We were talking a bit about the much-anticipated interview, Dana Bash interviewing Harris and Walls. And Charles, you were just making the point at the end. I just want to let you finish that, which was we focused yesterday on the risk that Kamala is taking by putting so much emphasis on this one interview, this build up to this one interview. And if it doesn't go well, that's going to compel her to do things that she otherwise is not inclined to do, like more interviews, because she's going to have to do, cleanup, damage control, if it doesn't go well from her perspective. But you suggested that Dana Bash has something on the line, too. I'm not so sure I agree, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that at this point, a lot of journalists do. I mean, we've seen some of these careers just pretty much self-immolate, if you will, because these people have taken, journalists have taken sides in this issue. Look at Don Lemon's career. Where has that gone?
Yeah, but Don Lemon didn't get sidelined because he was incompetent or because he was a flack for the left.
Oh, you don't think so?
He got I mean, it was when he started getting in some spats with some of his morning, especially the morning show co-hosts. I mean, he's just sort of dumb.
Well, he started to. He's interviewing a person. He's asking them for their position, opinion on an issue, and then he'll interject and say, "Hey, well, that's not right." It's like he's the on-the-spot fact checker when you're supposed to basically ask a person what their opinion, position is on an issue, and then go to, if there's a differing issue out there, as a reporter, you go find that person and have that person do the counterpoint to whomever.
Well, yeah, but that's not the standard. What is the standard? There's
that
no
should
standard.
be the standard.
Well, I know it should be, but I'm saying what is, and so I guess maybe I should restate. Lemon did get sidelined because he was incompetent and became unwatchable even for their audience. And so, money talks, not still talks. Money does talk to them. It always talks to them. They just pretend they're above the fray when it comes to, filthy, dirty dollars. But the job is to be a propagandist, and Lemon, to your point, wasn't good at it. You're supposed to be slick. You're supposed to give the appearance of whatever objectivity is, the appearance of fairness, the appearance of knowledge, and Lemon just wasn't good at doing any of those things.
Well, I think he violated all of the principles of journalism.
Yeah, but who on air right? I mean, pick a network, any network. Outside the independent investigative journalists that a lot of whom got bounced out of corporate media because they are independent, real journalists like Shel Atkinson or Catherine Herridge. I mean, who are the journalists, quote unquote journalists, or news readers on these cable networks that abide any particular standard as opposed to abiding a particular political position and political objective?
They're gone.
Right.
They don't exist anymore. It's a whole new game out there. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, I mean, says something to people. I mean, man, you would not believe how many friends I don't have anymore in Chicago. I mean, I'm a pariah.
Yeah, well,
and so are you.
I help people.
I read about you the other day in the newspaper.
Yeah, I know. I help people prune their friendship circles.
Well, you certainly
I'm a pruner.
Well, you have pruned, my brother. I'm pruned.
Well, yeah, no, I know. But that's my point. So just going back to Dana Bash, I mean, there's nothing really on the line for her as long as she, again, does a good job of pretending to be a journalist, asks what appear to be probing questions. They're not. They're dead-end questions. When I'm predicting where she will, as I said, explain this flip-flop on immigration, and Kamala will have a canned answer, and then she'll go to the next topic, and so on and so forth. There won't be anything other than helping Kamala get through some of the problems she has as a candidate.
Well, aside from Kamala, for the moment, the situation that you describe is the end of our country.
Yeah,
if this situation continues, journalistically, we've lost the First Amendment. We've lost freedom of the press. We've lost freedom. We've lost the ability to say what we want to say if reporters cannot go out there and cover both sides of a story. And we're getting to the point now where we can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think the country can last if this situation continues. We have to find journalism again. We have to find it. I think we've lost it in the past. Didn't we lose it back in the days of Randolph Hearst? What's it? The Hearst, whatever. And the we've lost it before and then found it again.
Well, you know I don't know if we lost
the whole yellow
the
journalism,
muckrakers
the muckrake,
and yeah. I mean, I don't know that that's a parallel to now. I mean, I see what you're saying. There's always been there's always going to be corruption and problems in any institution, and because they're all comprised of human beings, and human beings are fallen. But I think what you're talking about is different. And I think I had this conversation with Cheryl Atkinson I mentioned yesterday on my most recent podcast over at American Greatness. She and Harridge and Schellenberger and Taibbi and a handful of others, Barry Weiss at Free Press, they represent like an American samizdat from the Soviet era. These underground or Cato's letters from the revolution. They represent basically underground journalism. Now they're above ground, and you can find them online or on some of the social media platforms. But I mean, but it's very difficult for them to get their voices platformed. They're building audiences. Their audience is mainly the elite or the disaffected, but they're it's silenced or antagonized by the legacy corporate media, which is in bed with the government. I mean, I agree with you. No free press, no free society. But what you're seeing now is not one. It doesn't happen through one regime like in the 20th century, and then that regime just extends on, and things become more and more closed, as we saw during the brutal dictatorial regimes of the 20th century, and some in the 21st century, places like Venezuela or China. What you're seeing is what happens in every totalitarian society. All the mediating institutions fold into the state, and it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't happen overnight.
And what do we have right now? What do we have in terms of what's backfilling the sort of journalism that you're talking about?
Well, I find it. I mean, I go online and I find people that have a different point of view than, for instance, the administration, the Biden administration. I find those people, and they do the reporting. And
yeah, but institutionally, what's coming?
Institutionally, what's coming?
State-run media.
For sure, without a doubt.
State-funded media.
Yeah.
They want to fund local papers. Google / the state funding local media. Literally taxpayer-funded media that's been proposed legislatively in this state.
Very interesting. When you say state-run media, it's the political parties.
What's the Sun-Times?
Oh, that's state-run media.
It's owned by NPR, taxpayer-funded.
You'd be surprised. When I left ABC 7, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to try to do an independent news source.
Yeah.
Dan, you would be surprised how many politicians called to offer help.
Oh, yeah.
Man, including some very well-known names here in Chicago. I won't get into it now, but
because they wanted a house organ.
Oh, for sure. They particularly wanted a house organ that I would run or they could manipulate. And they offered lots of money to do it from places you would never believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all Democrat, quite frankly, in Chicago, but they were ready to go. It was going to be state-run media. I mean, I remember working for a media concern in Chicago, and I know this. They know this. It never officialized, but I got fired by the Democrat Party because I was talking to people that they didn't approve of.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said, no more. You can't work here anymore because the party has so many connections with advertisers,
right?
That they can hurt this business,
right?
This media business, and that absolutely happened.
The golden rule, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not Tim Walz's golden rule, the real golden rule they live by. He who makes the gold makes the rules. The and the other thing too about
there's a lot of gold in the game right now.
No question. And the other thing, but they eschew all of that. They have nothing to do with anything financial. This is all based on principle. And your story too. It's also reminiscent. We've been talking about these stories for so many years, so it's interesting. I don't know exactly what outlet you're talking about, but this idea, you were probably surprised that it happened.
Who, me?
Yeah. Were you surprised at the time? Maybe not now, but at the time.
I was surprised at the ownership of the media outlet that they would so brazenly allow themselves to be manipulated. They knew what was happening.
Right.
Because they were taking the money and taking the checks.
Right.
But
did you say to yourself, wait a second, I'm a good journalist. I'm good at my job. I'm just trying to do what I was trained to do, what I know I'm supposed to do as a journalist. And so what's the problem here? You're sort of surprised.
I'm surprised at my profession, that it's sunk to this depth. I was surprised because I conducted a career for 45 years based on principles that were inviolate, but they don't exist anymore.
Well, right, and I guess my point, we've seen all the stories like this, and like the one you're telling for so many years, and we've documented them on this show. But the people think like these things happen to other people; they can never happen to them. That that person they made a misjudgment or they made a misstatement or something, and but that would never happen to me because I'm a good person, because I do my job, because I stay out of the fray, and of course that's not true anymore, and it hasn't been true for a long time. But it's just interesting. I see it a lot. The surprise when these packs of hyenas on the left come for somebody who didn't expect them. I mean, they're just looking for the next carcass to feast on, and that's the culture now.
That is the culture, and I'm not putting it past people on the right to do basically the same thing. But I think what's happening now, the left is actually doing it.
You're right.
They're actually doing it in Chicago.
Yes, and the difference is, even if some on the right wanted to do that, and I don't recommend it, they don't have the institutional power that the left does, because the left, those hyenas, have gained control, essentially eaten from the inside out, all of these civic institutions.
Absolutely.
And so you got a problem there. Going back to your overarching point, which is, the state of living in a free society and what the prospects are for continuing to have something approximating a free society.
Yeah, because information right now is so, these what do they call them, the algorithms at so many, media, social media outlets is such that you only get one side. Once they figure out who you are, that's it. That's what you get. I stopped using Twitter for many years, or actually writing on Twitter. And I found, and I looked at stuff that I was seeing when I was working for ABC7, and I look at that same stuff now, and I'm going, whoa, man, I was fed a bunch of crap when I was working, because I will admit it was a more liberal approach because I needed that information to work where I was working. But I also noticed that I'm getting a lot of left-wing information that I absolutely don't subscribe to today because, I've changed. I mean, I got to tell you, I voted for Democrats 99% of the time because I lived in Chicago. There wasn't anything else to vote for. But they took, and I wrote about them all the time. And now I guess the algorithm decided, hey, this guy's a Democrat. He's a lefty. And I'm not. I'm going, whoa, but I read this stuff and say, man, is that what the algorithm thought of me 10 years ago?
They want you back, Charles.
Huh?
They want you back. That's why they're feeding you all that.
Yeah, they're feeding me feeding me this stuff because I don't think they know that. I mean, I was always an independent, and I can see now that I've been forced into a conservative place by them because I don't subscribe to this stuff. I mean, I consider myself a Christian. I consider myself no problem with my pronouns. I know who I am. But they're giving me all this stuff, and I'm going, well, whoa, where'd this come from? Well, it's the algorithm that from 10 years ago that doesn't apply today. But I had that gap, and there was no evolution to it from their standpoint.
Corey in Woodlawn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, Dan. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
I wanted to make a quick statement. There was a gentleman that was robbed, an influencer on TWB Chicago. When he came to Chicago to influence the DNC, he was robbed, and another person was robbed trying to get back to their hotel. So I think that was apropos for the Democrat convention, that they don't know what's going on in their own cities, how violent they've become. And also, one more quick statement, Dan. You used to have a website called Defending Homeowners. I don't know if that's still up, but that website is needed right now because so many people I hear from saying that they have no choice but to walk away from their homes because they just cannot afford the new taxes.
The property taxes. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Corey. Appreciate it.
I read those stories.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
As a business owner, do you have a strategy for exiting your business? Most business owners don't. Studies done by the Exit Planning Institute show 75% of business owners who don't have an exit plan are dissatisfied with their exit, and 80% of businesses put to market never sell. Total Clarity Wealth Management understands the hesitation to discuss exiting. Will customers leave? Will competitors take advantage? Will key employees leave? That's why they offer confidential planning. Contact Anne Marie at Total Clarity Wealth Management. Discover what the financial foundation should be to pursue an exit that is satisfying. At some point, you are going to leave your business. Will it be on your terms? Total Clarity can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Anne Marie is a certified exit planning advisor. Visit TotalClarityBusiness.com. That's TotalClarityBusiness.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, coming up at 6:06, we'll continue on this topic area of the presidential race in advance of the big interview tonight on CNN, and get to some substance on border security and illegal immigrants in this country. That's at 6:06. Charles Thomas is in for Amy J. with us all morning this morning. And now we turn it over to Crystal Blue for the headlines.
Going off script, Gianna Gelosi, Fox News Vice President Kamala Harris will face questioning for the first time since President Biden dropped out of the presidential race. In a pre-taped CNN interview, she's been under pressure for weeks to share her policies and criticized by Republicans for dodging the press.
The sit-down pre-taped interview with Vice President Kamala Harris is set to air on CNN tonight, and she's doing it with her vice presidential pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Walz, for his part, preferred to promote a different event Wednesday before a group of firefighters in Boston.
Kamala Harris, she's ready to hold him accountable on the debate stage. Tell me you're not looking forward to that.
The focus, though, among her critics is on policy. Tuesday, former President Trump's VP pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, told a rally in Michigan that she's copying the former president's policies.
In fact, I've heard that for her debate in just a couple of weeks, she's going to put on a Navy suit, a long red tie, and adopt the slogan, "Make America Great Again."
The debate is scheduled for September 10th. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Harris and Walls will wrap up a 2-day bus tour in Savannah, Georgia today. Yesterday, they visited a high school and a barbecue restaurant. Former President Trump hitting the campaign trail hard in key swing states as new polling suggests his lead on Vice President Kamala Harris is thinning.
The Trump campaign is going to be spending a lot of time here in Wisconsin, in Michigan, and in Pennsylvania, where they are hoping to turn Democrats' blue wall to red. We are told that Senator J.D. Vance is going to be playing a big role in those efforts, given his upbringing in Ohio and his ability to connect with blue-collar voters and communities who feel like they have been left behind. New Fox News polls show the race is tightening in battleground states across the Sun Belt, where Harris is outperforming Joe Biden's numbers and now narrowly leads Trump in Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada, while Trump holds a 1-point lead in North Carolina.
And that was Fox's Garrett Tenney reporting. America is listening to Fox News.
WIND, Chicago.
Good morning. It's 71 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Crystal Blue in the AM 560 newsroom. Mostly sunny skies today, high near 83. A man faces multiple gun charges in a shooting last week in Peoria that left a teen wounded. Police say shots were fired Friday night in the 1900 block of West Cattell Street. No victim was located at the scene, but it was discovered that a 16-year-old boy was taken to the hospital by a private vehicle with a gunshot wound to the chest. Investigators later identified Andrew Drummond as a suspect. The 19-year-old turned himself in on Tuesday. Lawyers for the so-called ComEd 4 are calling for all charges against them to be dismissed. Ann Premagiore, Michael McLean, John Hooker, and Jay Doherty were found guilty last year of conspiring to influence and reward former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan in order to assist with the passage of legislation favorable to the electric company. However, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in June that the federal bribery statute doesn't ban gratuities to public officials. Lawyers for all four filed a motion this week asking a federal judge to acquit all four defendants, arguing the entire prosecution was built on a rotten foundation. The Archdiocese of Chicago is offering a natural, eco-friendly burial option at a suburban cemetery. The natural burial plots will be located at Meadows of St. Kateri in a new section of St. Michael the Archangel Cemetery in Palatine. Natural burials emphasize simplicity and environmental responsibility by allowing the body to return to the earth naturally. The Chicago Archdiocese is the first Catholic diocese in Illinois to offer a natural burial option. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul is charging two Chicago area residents of fraudulently applying for and receiving Paycheck Protection Program loans during the COVID-19 pandemic. Samantha Hauer of Elmwood Park and Dion Wilson of Warrenville each face multiple charges, including theft by deception and loan fraud. Raoul says both applied for PPP loans by falsely claiming that they owned businesses that didn't exist. News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO or FEP, you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Learn more and check if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Larry Elder wants the media to do its job.
Now, I sat through Joe Biden's speech, and it was 52 minutes packed with lie after lie after lie after lie. I love how they fact-check Donald Trump, who often is accused of lying when he exaggerates. He puffs, he exaggerates. We all know that.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
On August 30th, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world. We have just forgotten it.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Reagan in theaters Friday, August 30th. Rated PG-13. May not be suitable for children under 13.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Do you have jewelry with sentimental value that needs repairing? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I'm a customer of family-owned Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville because it's a place I trust. Their in-house master jeweler does impeccable work, and jewelry comes back repaired in perfect condition and looks the same as the day you bought it. That's a great feeling. Roland's also specializes in custom design. They'll work with you every step of the way to make your dream jewelry idea come to life. The Roland's family is expertly trained to give you outstanding customer service, earning 5-star Google ratings. Now that's impressive. Visit Roland's Jewelers' beautiful showroom in downtown Libertyville for all of your jewelry needs. Visit RolandsJewelers.com. That's ROLLANDS Jewelers.com, or call or text them at 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek taking a look at the road. Still wide open on the inbound Edens. The Kennedy Inn, that's slowing down Nagel to Montrose, 25 in from O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower 35 to get from 390 into downtown as well. Outbound side, that's tight central to East Avenue. There was an accident near East. It is on the shoulder, 32 minutes back out to 390. Northbound I-55, that's sluggish, 52 to Black Road. Seeing delays on the inbound Stevenson at 30, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Going inbound on the Dan Ryan, 1895th on in, the express lanes in. Those are tight as well, Pershing to the Chinatown feeder. On the Bishop, 4 traffic slows in, 115th to the Ryan, and 394 north, an accident at Burville Road. Traffic is brought to you by Blue Star Security. Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you and your business. Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
For today, humid with clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I just wanted to get to this, get your take on something, Charles. Charles Thomas, by the way, ABC7 political reporter, in for Amy this morning, I should mention.
Good morning.
So we've been talking about the presidential race and the interview tonight and what we can anticipate. But let's pull back a little bit, too. I want to treat you to this visit that Harris and Walz made to a school in Georgia, where they visited band class. One time in band class? Oh, that was band camp. Never mind. Anyway, this was the visit. Now, these are high schoolers. Okay? And this is how Kamala spoke to them.
You are doing some of the best work any leader can do. And we're so proud of you. And we're counting on you. Your generation, all that you guys stand for, everything you have at stake, is what is going to propel our country into the next era of what we can do and what we can be. And I want to say to you that you must always lead as you have chosen to lead. Understanding you don't have to ask anybody's permission to lead. And I think you all have figured that out. You've decided to be a leader. And in doing that, you are also role models, right? Welcome to the Role Model Club.
Welcome to the Role Model Club. You've just been initiated by Kamala Harris. These are 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. I mean, do you have any... Does anything rub you wrong about the way that you lead us into the era of things we can do? I mean, the typical sort of, airy nonsense that she says. But also, it's just the tone and the patronizing manner in which she talks to people. I was having this conversation with a friend yesterday. He was talking about taking his daughter to college, and this is going to be the first election she votes in. And she's like, so to talk about the presidential race, and it's like, who are you going to vote for? He says to her, and she says, I don't know. I'd probably Trump. And he was actually a bit surprised, and so he asked why, and she said, Kamala's just fake. And it's just interesting that I'm not surprised because I've been saying it for a while, and I think this fake versus fight formulation that Trump stumbled into in a rally in Atlanta a few weeks back, I think there's something there. But I think it just if she talks to people like they're preschoolers, whether they're 17-year-old clarinet players in the high school band or adults, everything is so treacly and silly and fake.
Because she doesn't have the intellectual underpinning. I don't think she's read very much in her life. And I think that's why she talks to people like that, because she really can't elevate beyond that. That's what she does. Ukraine is a country in Europe. Russia is a big... come on.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Yeah, right.
Talk to us about the real deal here. Our money, potentially our young people, our soldiers. Talk to us real about it. But she can't, because I don't think she has an understanding of European history to talk about Ukraine and Russia enough to be able to. I think she gets a job, she stays there a term and a half, and she moves to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever voted for her nationally she never won a primary. She's never convinced voters that she's the person that whose lever they should pull. She's never done that.
See, I think
never had to do it.
Right. I think you can sell like the talking down to the infantilization in a state like Illinois, or at least like in the Chicagoland area, where people just want to consume beautiful lies, and they want to be they want their self-esteem stroked by politicians and so forth, rather than having the difficult adult conversations about real-world problems and making tough decisions, oftentimes because of the problems we've inflicted upon ourselves. I don't know that you can. I just don't think you can sell that fake or nationally. Now, Obama did it, but I think he is much more skilled, and I think he had a much more easily sanitized record than she does.
And he was a great speaker, orator. He could speak. He could communicate with people. She can't. She can't do it, as witnessed by what we just heard on the tape.
Welcome to the Role Model Club.
Welcome to the Role Model Club. Yeah, she does. This is who she is, and that's why I sit here and say I have serious doubts about this woman's qualifications to be the president of the United States of America. I really don't know. She hasn't proven to me that she can do it. She can't even demonstrate to me what she has done.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro line and turnkey.pro text line. Same number. Take your calls. One of the things that she could be asked about and could be pushed on, won't be, maybe until September 10th, where we'll talk about that a little bit too, the role that Trump needs to play in that debate. But talking about the Role Model Club and what's happening on the ground, say in her state of California.
A group of migrants tried to board a school bus this morning while it was traveling to a school. The superintendent for the Humboldt del Zura Union School District informed parents of that incident earlier today. It happened at one of the stops on the school district's bus route that heads to Oak Grove Middle School and Humboldt Primary. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, in a similar area along another route, the superintendent says that a group of migrants tried to stop another bus. Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office have now been informed of these incidents. The superintendent says that for the safety of everyone, if a driver sees a group of migrants at a bus stop, they will drive past it and move on to the next.
Fox affiliate reporting in California, groups of migrants trying to hijack school buses.
Hijack school buses?
Well, that's what they're reporting. And you've got the bus company saying if they see a group of migrants, we're just going to, put the pedal to the metal. What does that tell you? I mean, what is this? Was this Fury Road out there? This is what we're talking about. Oh, by the way, while everybody's so full of joy, this is what's happening to real people in real America. How about NBC affiliate reporting on this guy in New Orleans who, by the way, you'll pick this up when you listen to it, was denied a visa during Trump's administration, but he got in a little bit later, and now look what he's done.
As scathing new details about Jorge Sanchez Martinez are revealed in court. WBSU's Cassie Sherm is joining us now live from criminal court with these new developments. And Cassie, what did the judge have to say about all of this?
Well, the judge today in court says she normally does not like to hold anyone without bond, but she says it's because the circumstances. One, that he does not have a driver license here. Another one, that he was denied a visa. He has no connection to anyone in the United States, she said, as according to the DA's office. And then also that ICE is trying to detain him. She says that she's worried he's a flight risk, and she says that's why she's made this decision. Now, a little bit more about that driver. So the driver that we know so far is Jorge Sanchez Martinez. He's currently being charged with negligent homicide, reckless operation of a vehicle, and not being licensed to drive. The district attorney's office says Sanchez applied for a visitor visa in 2019 and was denied. He later came into the state undocumented, and he has no driver's license. Now, court documents state that Sanchez Martinez was driving on the Crescent City Connection Bridge at an unknown speed when he reached down to grab a cup of coffee, and by the time he looked up, his car hit the back of a motorcycle driven by 48-year-old Mark Dean. Now, according to Sanchez Martinez, after the initial impact, he attempted to brake abruptly but was unable to avoid hitting Dean a second time. Now, Sanchez Martinez then hit another car. Now, Attorney General Liz Murrill sent us this statement saying, quote, heartbreaking. The person responsible for this horrific crash, 29-year-old Jorge Martinez Sanchez, is a legal alien. Our office is prosecuting the case in a secure detention without bond. Martinez Sanchez has been arrested for negligent homicide, reckless operation, and driving without a license. I'm praying for the family, friends, and co-workers of Mark Dean.
Okay, so bus hijackings in California, vehicular manslaughter charges in New Orleans. How about Philadelphia?
He's now been identified as 39-year-old Freddie Antonio Amaya Marin from El Salvador. Officers say the suspect stood in the woods outside his home and shot at multiple vehicles driving down the street until police arrived on the scene. He then began shooting at officers and they returned fire. The suspect was arrested shortly after. Investigators are working with multiple agencies, including the U.S. Attorney General's Office and Homeland Security. Amaya Marin faces 8 counts of attempted murder and federal charges for illegal re-entry after deportation and illegal alien in possession of a firearm. Authorities tell 3 on Your Side this is not his first incident. The 39-year-old was deported back to El Salvador back in 2007 and returned to the U.S. illegally. He's also a confirmed member of a violent international street gang.
Yeah, MS-13. Trump mentions routinely, along with Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang. Aurora, Colorado. The videos, have you seen the videos coming out of Aurora, Colorado about Venezuelan gangs, people in this country illegally associated with Tren de Aragua, which I just mentioned, terrorizing, taking control of apartment complexes, terrorizing residents. You have film of them in parking lots, basically just creating mayhem in parking lots, high traffic areas for younger people and so forth. So all of this across the country. Of course, we've documented the undocumented very well that have been sent here to the sanctuary city that is Chicago, the sanctuary county that is Cook, the sanctuary state that is Illinois. So this is what people are actually experiencing, particularly in urban centers, but not limited to urban centers. And I just wonder, you saw some of the frustrations and you heard from some people during the DNC here about all these resources, not only for the safety of people coming to the city for the DNC, what about the permanent residents, as well as the resources that are being devoted to all of the needs of people in this country illegally that have been invited here by politicians like Pritzker and Preckwinkle and Johnson. And hey, what about us in the neighborhoods? I think, maybe I just hope more of this is building as more and more of these unfortunate stories are circulated.
It's happening. It's happening. I mean, I can only say it's happening anecdotally at this point because we're still early in the campaign, but it absolutely is happening. There's a lot of there's just a lot of people are anxious about the campaign. They realize what's on the line here. And for black voters in Chicago, this issue alone should be enough to turn them against the person who is supposed to control the border, who did not control the border. And I can't walk down my street. I live in the Greektown area, but I can't walk down Halstead Street today without seeing women and small children standing on the corner with cardboard signs saying, "Help me." And they're obviously immigrants or illegal immigrants, most from Venezuela, who are on my street every day. They weren't there 3.5 years ago. They were not there 3.5 years ago, but I see them all the time. And people are seeing this and they're saying, hey, there's a difference right now between what was happening 3.5 years ago. And that is enough for a black voter in particular in Chicago. That should be enough to basically turn their political allegiance. This whole business of Kamala being a woman of color, black woman, Indian woman, whatever she is, I don't know. But that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant to what's going on every day and what you see when you walk down the street every day. And a lot of jobs are being taken away. Believe me, there are workers now. If you go to any Home Depot in the city of Chicago, and you'll see the workers, the immigrants, the immigrants standing outside the Home Depot. A lot of these people are carpenters, they're plumbers, they're bricklayers.
Right. Yeah.
These are real people,
Yeah.
and they are going to go to work.
Yeah.
And they're gonna take the jobs of the people who are on the lowest rung of American society economically. Those jobs are the ones that are being pressured, where their labor rates are going down. The poorest people in our city are being most affected. The housing they struggle to find, the lowest priced housing, that's where the pressure is right now. And we're sitting back and watching this happen, and the Democrats say that they're for poor people. How in the world can they say that?
Mary Kay, Western Springs.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Good morning, Charles. You were talking about the qualifications. That's what bothers me or worries me the most about how unqualified she is. She doesn't seem educated enough. She doesn't seem to want to on world affairs. Doesn't seem like she wants to learn anymore. For her, it's all just about getting elected now, and that's the way these Democrats are. She's annoying to the point of you can't even listen to the woman. She's always saying, "Am I right? Am I right?" Like she's looking for validation. She sounds like a fourth grade teacher. And about the crime, you were talking about the begging. So people are on the streets asking for money all day out here too, in the suburbs in Oak Brook, right across from the mall. There's a few stations set up all the time, and that's sad, and worrisome. And the crime, I would think the crime alone would get people to change their ways and vote the other way. There was a carjacking in Western Springs on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Carjacking at the bank I used to work at. So 6 a.m., five guys jumped out of a black SUV, 2 with handguns, take all of his personal stuff. The other guys jumped in the car, drove away.
Mm-hmm.
Right, less than a mile from where I live.
Western Springs.
And this,
Thanks.
safe little town. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Well, I mean, this is, again, what big cities do to their metropolitan areas in the modern era where they're dominated by the new Bolsheviks, which is socialize the problems. And this is what the new Bolsheviks at the federal level want to do nationally. Socialize the problems that are the direct result of the policies that they pursue. But the way you sell it is by partnering. Remember, Richie Daley partnered with all the suburban mayors to create a metropolitan mayor's caucus. We're in a partnership. Chicago's a crown jewel. It's a great city, was a great city, could be a great city. I agree. Lived there for 20 years. I was on board. But we're going to partner. But it wasn't a partnership. It was to socialize. It was a partnership in the same way that I am partnered with somebody whose student debt is being forgiven. We're socializing people's individual choices, and we're socializing the political ruling class's choices, even if they are not directly over you in terms of your representatives. That's the game. Partnering with government, private-public partnerships, public-public partnerships, intergovernmental partnerships.
Our partnership.
Our partners. Ron, Southside.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Charles.
Good morning, Ron.
Pleasure. Hey, man, look here. You talking about you losing friends. I think they were trying to get me banned from the station up. I told they didn't have to because I won't call anymore that garbage. But real quick, you said, Charles, that this should be enough, I guess, with the migrant situation for black people in Chicago. Charles, unfortunately, it's not enough. If it hasn't been enough for the failure of schools, over 50 years, property taxes, the people out in Dalton possibly losing their homes, crying. Look, it was a dollar store. The other day I went there. They burglarized. They had a listing of all the places where stores had been broken into. So I just want to say, Charles, I'm just hoping maybe black people around the country, particularly in some of these states, where to make a difference, But as far as black folks here in this state, in this city, in this county, I don't think anything will be enough. All that circus, that DNC last week, that showed me no, it's not enough. But it's good talking to you as always. Have a good one.
Thanks, Ron.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Get ready to turn up the summer vibes at Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells and let the good times roll. Dive into your wildest dreams of adventure through awesome water parks, chill in sun-soaked pools, and keep the whole family smiling. Take on our epic water slides, soar like an eagle from our enormous zip lines, and swing into our world-class golf course. From sunrise to sunset, Chula Vista Resort is buzzing with excitement. Refuel and transport your taste buds to the flavor paradise of our #1 steakhouse in Wisconsin. Chula Vista Resort, where adventure and relaxation collide into your unique summer getaway. Call 1-800-388-4782 or visit chulavistaresort.com. Chula Vista Resort, the latest chapter in your epic summer story.
For a chance to win an overnight stay, please visit 560theanswer.com, keyword summer. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword summer.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Charles Thomas in for Amy coming up at 6:36. The New Bolsheviks press corps is out after J.D. Vance. Again, another comment about childless people, this time childless teachers. And Randy Weingarten has responded. We'll have that, discuss it with you. 6:36. Now we check the headlines with Crystal Blue.
Good morning. It's 72 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Crystal Blue in the AM 560 newsroom. Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 83. Lake County authorities want to present banking records. Trial of a man who's accused of staging the deadly Highland Park 4th of July parade shooting. Prosecutors recently filed a motion that says Robert Cremo III paid for the weapon allegedly used to kill 7 people and wound 48 others in 2022. He's accused of paying an online gun store $544.69 on February 7th, 2020 for Smith & Wesson M&P Sport II firearm. The motion seeks to admit bank records from the suspect's checking account. Cremo was expected to appear in court on Wednesday, but the date was rescheduled for September 12th. The Illinois Environmental Protection is awarding more than $483,000 to 3 public water supply facilities in the state. The funds will be used to reduce each facility's energy consumption with cost-effective energy and efficiency upgrades to drinking water treatment operations. Recipients of the awards include the cities of Aurora, Highland Park, and Springfield. News is a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations, combining heritage and innovation in every cup. Hot air roasted locally and cold blended in small batches to ensure premium quality. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will meet on the debate stage for the first time on September 10th. And AM 560 is throwing a debate watch party, and we want you to join us. Join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and fellow AM 560 listeners on Tuesday, September 10th at Moretti's Unique Events in Hoffman Estates for a buffet dinner, followed by the debate. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/debate. That's 560theanswer.com/debate.
Are you a business owner with a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, and a plan for growth, but you just need the right bank? Hi, Mike Gallagher here, letting you know that Signature Bank is all about going the distance for commercial banking customers. It's what Signature Bank does every day. Their team understands that accessibility is key to their culture. In times like these, you want a bank that is there for you to weather the bad times and capitalize on the good. And with Signature Bank by your side, you can't go wrong. It's a true partnership. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right, I'm a customer. I believe in what they have to offer, from innovative innovative tech and customized solutions to help your business grow and thrive. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Attention maintenance coordinators and chief engineers. Welding is a craft requiring highly skilled personnel and specialized equipment. But who do you call when you need welding? Vans Industrial can perform all types of welding at your site or in their shop.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a metal fabricator and installer, welding is a huge part of our business. At Vans, we have trained AWS certified welders, skilled in welding all types of alloys. We can weld carbon steel, stainless steel, brass, and aluminum with a variety of techniques, including MIG, TIG, and stick. We have equipment to reach the farthest parts for the tightest areas of your facility.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics insured at the highest level to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to schedule your welding project today. That's 833-VANSIND. Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANSindustrial.com. Vans Industrial, working safe since 1964.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek taking a look at the roads. 22 minutes going in on the Edens from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. The Kennedy up to 38 minutes, and from O'Hare to downtown, especially tight Sayre to Montrose. On the Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 into the post office. Going out on the Eisenhower, there's an accident at East Avenue off to this side, so it's a half hour to get back out to 390. Stevenson, a half hour in, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan, 16 minutes, 95th on in. Delays in the Express, 43rd to the Chinatown feeder ramp. It's open Skyway and 57, but the Ford slows inbound right near the Dan Ryan. Tri-State northbound stop and go near the Reagan. The other tollways look good, and eastbound 80 heavy, Humboldt to Larkin Avenue. This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now, a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Humid today with intervals of clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning is Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 political reporter, as you well know. Charles, we have Childless Cat Ladies Part 2.
Part 2?
Yeah. Everybody's putting together their vaults of clips from the two tickets, of course, Trump and Vance and Harris and Walz. We've got our own. We've got a very robust Harris vault and building Walsvold. So J.D. Vance, this clip from a couple of years ago talking about teachers, and he raises the issue of teachers without kids again. But listen to what he's really getting at here, and then we'll hear from Randi Weingarten, who is singled out by Vance in his comments.
And I think our conservative idea is that parents and families should determine what children learn, what values they are brought up with. You know, so many of the leaders of the left, and I hate to be so personal about this, but they're people without kids trying to brainwash the minds of our children. And that really disorients me and it really disturbs me. Randi Weingarten, who's the head of the most powerful teachers union in the country, she doesn't have a single child. If she wants to brainwash and destroy the minds of children, she should have some of her own and leave ours the hell alone.
If she wants to brainwash the minds of the children, she should have some of her own and leave ours the hell alone. And that goes for all of those childless teachers that are in the indoctrination business, said Vance effectively. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. That's also the turnkey.pro text line. All right, so Randi Weingarten's called out, and of course, Jen Psaki, former White House spokeswoman, she ran to Randi Weingarten for a comment on what Vance said, tried to extend the childless cat ladies controversy a little bit longer. Here's Weingarten's response.
If we didn't have such a divided country where people take seriously what he or Donald Trump say, it would be ridiculous. But, you know, you just like sit there and say, whether it's, you know, Catholicism or Judaism or any of the religions or not that many of us believe in, teaching children is one of the most important things we can do, regardless of whether we are parents or not. And frankly, you know, I'm delighted. I'm blessed that, you know, Sharon has 2 kids and, you know, I consider them my kids now. And it's wonderful to have a big family with lots of nieces and nephews. Somebody doesn't have to be a parent to be a great teacher. And in fact, so many teachers in America, so many nuns in parochial schools are fantastic teachers who teach compassion and caring and critical thinking and context. So it's nonsensical, but what it does in this age of disinformation and misinformation, it just makes the job of teaching and learning, the connection between parents and teachers and kids, it makes it harder. And that's why it's gross.
Did J.D. Vance step over the line talking about teachers without kids, indoctrinating, and Randi Weingarten, if you don't know, the president of the American Federation of Teachers? She's the woman who literally looks like a shrew. She really looks like a field mouse. But anyway, so she's one of the union bosses. Did he step over the line there, Charles?
No, I don't think he stepped over the line. I think he's making a commentary on American life today and what we're dealing with culturally. And I think he certainly lit a fire. And he's going to get this kind of pushback. Because what else can they say about Donald Trump? So they've got a new horse to beat, and that's J.D. Vance. And this is something that they went back into the archives, found this comment, and they knew it was there, and now they're having a conversation about it in order to solidify their base. If their base are single cat ladies, yeah, if they're part of the base, and they need something to talk about. I mean, Kamala won't say a word, and what else can they say about Donald Trump?
Well, they'll say they'll just repeat what they've been saying about him, right? But I mean, how much of it is baked in? To your point, I agree. You know, the Vance thing. Well, first of all, let me say something I've said on the show many times before, that having children is better than not having children. I say that as a guy who's never been married and has no children. Like, you being married and having children is better than me not being married and not having children. I say the same thing to Amy. So part of this is just, it's so tiresome that everybody has to be equally celebrated for their life choices, because all life choices are of equal value, and every human being is, of course, every human being is of equal value, and people can make their own choices and live their own life so long as they don't infringe upon the right of another to do the same. Yes, we all know. Do we really need these kindergarten civics lessons from Jen Psaki and Randy Weingarten? No, we don't, or Kamala Harris for that matter. Don't do it. But I know. Everybody wants to join the role model club. Everybody wants to be in the role model club with Tim and Kamala. But they're not all of equal value. Adding children and raising them properly is of more value than just playing golf all the time like
Absolutely.
I do.
And, and that's what we've lost,
Yeah.
Dan. We've lost the North Star. We've lost sight of the North Star, which is the two-parent family, the male and female who conceive the child, have a responsibility to parent the child and raise the child, and we've lost that as the North Star. I don't care if you're gay, lesbian, BGTQ, XYZ plus. That should still be even your North Star, because that's how we as a society continue. I mean, I believe that, and I'm sorry, call me a bigot, call me whatever, but that is the way nature intended, my God intended for us to be, as any society to be.
Yeah, it's sort of how you propagate the species. But
exactly.
But I mean, so part of it is again, Vance is also talking specifically about these schools being indoctrination camps. Yes, of course, somebody who doesn't have kids can be a great teacher or a great coach or whatever. Yes, of course. But so the childless piece of it, I think he's sort of signaling something that he doesn't want to get deeper into, like Charles just did. And maybe he should, maybe he shouldn't. But one thing I would say about this childless business, childless teachers, so forth, even the indoctrination thing. How about this? How about we pull back? Because we just got this report card. We talked on Tuesday about it. We just got this State Board of Education report card for 2024 in Illinois. And the other states are reporting too. And as we know from Ted Dabrowski over at wirepoints.org, the data I'm about to remind you of puts Illinois about middle of the pack nationally, which should frighten you with respect to America's future. Statewide, 2 million kids in K through 12 education in Illinois. A third read at grade level, rounding, a third read at grade level, a quarter do math at grade level. And that's Illinois is in the middle of the pack. So this is happening in certainly most big metropolitan areas. And in, if we're middle of the pack, that means half the country. And by the way, to the extent that, a few states are doing better than us, you got to do a lot better than us to really have a conversation. And very few states are in the where the people, the kids not reading or doing math at grade level are the minority. In most, they're the majority. So I just wish there'd be some all this money. And I know it's mostly a state and local issue, but not to the left, especially when they carry on about how important the Department of Education is, which it isn't. Obviously, look at the results. You could say the same thing about state and localities, too, for that matter. These government schools, I mean, those numbers, what does Randy Weingarten and Pringle over at the National Federation or National Education Association, she's AFT, what do they have to say about that? What do teachers around the country have to say about that? And principals and superintendents? And parents and school districts and school boards. I mean, there is no scenario in which you can persuade anybody, if they knew the numbers, that you're getting the job done. No one is going to say those are good numbers. They'll come up with a million excuses why they're happening. Oh, you're not funding it, this, and white supremacy, that. Whatever. You have a job to do, and you've got a finite period to do it, because kids are like 8, 9, 10 years old once. You don't get to come back to them when they're 25 and say, hey, we got it.
No mulligans.
Yeah. So, but I mean, so I wish there'd be more of a move in that direction to indict the leadership of these government school systems around the country politically, not criminally, although they are de facto criminal enterprises the way they behave, like CPS. And then that's a great segue to having a conversation about school choice, which is, by the way, happening in more than 2/3 of the states now. And there's a reason for it, because a lot of parents have figured out that the K through 12 government schools aren't getting the job done. I think it's a much more productive conversation. Tom in Blue Island, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
Well, the insult in what Vance says is it breaks against the desire to destroy the family. I hate the phrase traditional family. It's like what was it with Bush that they used to say, Dan? Compassionate conservative. If you destroy the family, which the child is the cornerstone of which mothers used to desire to have and to rear children and protect their children and raise their children, then you've destroyed the family. Marx wins. You get two women, one with long hair like Dan Proft and the other one with short hair like, an average guy and stuff, and then everything's beautiful.
I
don't know, Dan. It's a crazy world.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of this, starting next July, Minnesota state agencies. That's where Tim Walz is from.
Tim Walz.
He's the governor there.
That guy?
Yeah. Starting next July, Minnesota agencies controlled by Walz will require teacher license applicants to affirm transgenderism and basically race Marxism, CRT. And without a teaching license, you can't work in Minnesota's government schools, nor in the private schools that require such licenses. The latest version of the regulations requires teachers to affirm students' gender identity and sexual orientation. Quoting here, the teacher fosters an environment that ensures student identities such as race, ethnicity, national origin, language, sex and gender identity, sexual orientation, physical, developmental, emotional ability, socioeconomic class, religious beliefs are historically and socially contextualized, affirmed, and incorporated into a learning environment where students are empowered to learn and contribute as their whole selves. Yeah. Well, we've got something like that here because we're governed by a bigger version of Tim Walz. So I mean, that's the headline is under Tim Walz, Minnesota banned Christian teachers, which is effectively what that does. Particularly the way it's enforced. And it is enforced. And not just by the state, but by de facto state agencies. Partners with the government, like the teachers' unions.
But isn't that really a boon for school choice? Because people are going to begin to abandon these public schools.
Well, they better hurry up because 90% of the kids still go to the government schools, and a very small percentage of them are coming out of those government schools prepared to compete in a digital global world, and that doesn't augur well for America.
Not at all. But I got to think that a lot of parents who have any opportunity to move away from the government schools are going to do that. I just can't imagine why you would keep your kid in a government school in that situation if you have the ability to get out.
Childless cat ladies creeping around, nothing but cats on our minds. Cats running around with their tails in the air, they're flashing their feline behinds. Childless cat ladies, young and old, cats are our pleasure and joys.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, a family-owned restaurant, a Chicago family favorite for over 40 years. Why? Because they're known for sub sandwiches the size of your forearm. No joke. Their 6-inch sub has more meat and cheese in it than any foot-long in an Irish neighborhood. These sandwiches are iconic, famous for their homemade Italian beef, meatballs, burgers, and, of course, delicious Italian subs loaded with mortadella, cabagol, salami, provolone, and their own secret sauce called Love Potion No. 9. This vinegar and oil dressing is famous on its own. Both Augustino's locations boast walls covered in authentic rock and roll memorabilia and artifacts, all celebrating their love for good old-fashioned rock and roll. Augie's is a feast for your eyes and your stomach. Dine in or carry out. Bring the family or the team. Plus, Augie's caters corporate meetings, parties, and celebrations. Don't make it yourself. Make it happen with Augustino's. Go to Augustinos.com for locations and menus. That's Augustinos.com.
What a waste of time, money, and vacation days. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. And if you've had a bad knee or hip replacement surgery, you know exactly what I'm talking about because sometimes the surgery doesn't even work. But there is an alternative, QC Kinetics. Check it out before you go under the knife. QC Kinetics uses your own body's properties to repair damaged joint tissue due to arthritis or an injury. Folks, it's regenerative medicine. Think about it. If you cut your hand, it eventually heals. But don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself with a free consultation. And what's really cool is the fact that Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, the National Medical Director and former orthopedic surgeon, is located right here in the Chicago area. Call now to end your chronic pain and learn more about QC Kinetics. They have new locations in Gurnee and Crystal Lake. Saturday appointments available. The number to call is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
One of the most important decisions you can make as a parent is where you send your kids to school. But these days, it's never been harder to know which school is best. Public schools have changed a lot, and you might be thinking about sending your child to a private Christian school. But you also know that private school can be expensive, and in this economy, you might think it's not an option. Well, think again. With HalfPriceSchools.com, you can purchase tuition vouchers for half the price of normal tuition for private schools. For nearly 10 years, HalfPriceSchools.com has helped families from all over Chicagoland make the dream of private school a reality. And that can be the reality for you and your child, too. Just go to HalfPriceSchools.com, search for a private Christian school near you, and purchase a voucher. It's that easy. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
Honey, have you seen our roof after that storm last night? I think we need to call someone.
Oh, don't worry. We got the shingle company on speed dial.
But I keep hearing in the news recently how dangerous sloped roofs can be. Our home in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point.
Well, the shingle company isn't afraid of any sloped roofs. Their safety record is spotless, their warranty unmatched, and they offer a low-price apples-to-apples guarantee. Besides, it costs us nothing to get a quote.
The Shingle Company, your local roofing experts who handle even the steepest of slopes with ease. Whether it's residential or commercial roofing, they've got you covered. With 3 generations of building experience, they're also experts in siding, gutters, windows, and more.
I am so glad we called them, and I can't believe our insurance covered practically the whole project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plus, I love that they're proud supporters of AM 560.
Visit the Shingle Company today at shingleco.com. Again, that's shingleco.com.
Quick delivery service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss. Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay, can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver a large envelope to Northbrook?
We can deliver that today.
Oh my gosh, I think my water just broke. Can you...
We cannot deliver that.
Quick Delivery Service delivers your package no matter the size. More than just a messenger service, Quick Delivery Service is a messenger and trucking service that can also provide scheduled routes for your daily delivery or your air shipment. Trucks are equipped to handle the load and provide ground-level service for same-day delivery. The Quick Delivery Service team of safe, licensed professionals can provide quick door-to-door service for your special delivery. QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. We deliver that today. But we don't deliver this.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Dennis Prager, weekdays at noon Eastern, followed by Jay and Jordan Sekulow at 2. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Xumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Xumo. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Charles Thomas is in for Amy J this morning, and coming up at 7:07, we'll both be talking to Christopher Whalen. We'll start with that unrealized capital gains tax that Kamala's pushing. It is now 7 a.m., AM 560, WIND.
Getting back out there. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Biden's been away from the White House since his convention speech a week and a half ago in California, now home in Delaware, with one more stop before returning to the White House, and then the campaign trail. A campaign no longer his own.
As he's done for years, President Biden will spend Labor Day in Pennsylvania, but next week's event in Pittsburgh will also include Vice President Kamala Harris. It will mark the first joint campaign rally since Harris officially became the Democratic nominee. Next Thursday, the president returns to Wisconsin, an official event not tied to the presidential campaign, but an event intended to highlight policies the administration says are lowering cost and expanding renewable energy manufacturing. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Former President Trump has more events in swing states.
It will be the Republican Party nominee's first campaign appearance since special counsel Jack Smith filed a reworked indictment in his election interference case. Former President Trump will likely have a lot to say during campaign stops in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin over the next 2 days. 2016 saw the former president break a presidential election slump for the GOP by becoming the first Republican since the 1980s to win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. He's trying to win both states back after President Biden flipped both in 2020. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Trump running mate J.D. Vance in Wisconsin yesterday.
As much as the media says that Trump is the candidate of division, the reality is that we, from Nikki Haley and Brian Kemp to RFK and Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump is the candidate of common sense and cutting out the craziness. And we're thrilled to have support from across the political spectrum.
Vice President Harris being interviewed today for the first time as the presidential nominee on CNN, joined by running mate Tim Walz. That interview airs tonight. America's listening to Fox News.
WIND, Chicago.
Good morning. It's 72 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Crystal Blue in the AM 560 newsroom. Mostly sunny skies today.
Dennis Prager sees
Detectives are investigating a shooting inside a gas station in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood. The crime happened early Wednesday morning at a BP station in the 4700 block of South Michigan Avenue. Police say the 35-year-old man was standing inside the business when he was approached by 3 suspects. One of the alleged offenders pulled a weapon and fired shots, wounding the man twice in the stomach area. The offenders fled the scene. The victim was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition. No one is in custody. The life of a fallen Chicago firefighter was honored on Wednesday after he died battling a fire last summer near O'Hare Airport. A badge ceremony was held yesterday morning for Lieutenant Kevin Ward inside the Chicago Fire Academy. Mayor Brandon Johnson said that the city will etch the fireman's memory into the story of Chicago. Ward passed away 1 year ago, 2.5 weeks after he was critically hurt battling a blaze in a house on August 11th. He was trapped in the basement, was pulled and rushed to Loyola Medical Center where he died. The Illinois Flag Commission will start accepting submissions for a new state flag design next week. 10 designs will be selected that showcase Illinois' diversity of urban, suburban, and rural communities. The IFA will host a 2-month online public survey starting in January 2025. Residents can vote on either of their favorites or keep the current flag. Submissions for the flag contest can be sent by email or uploaded online starting September 3rd and lasting through October 18th. For more information, go to the Illinois Secretary of State's website. 2 Chicago girls will have their dream of going to a Chicago Sky game come true. Jade and Joy Lee ran a lemonade stand in the city's Roseland neighborhood for 2 days to raise money to see their favorite Sky player, Angel Reese, in Friday's game against the Indiana Fever. After raising $400, Chicago entrepreneur Early Walker met with the 6th and 7th graders on Monday. He and a business partner donated $2,000 for tickets, a limo ride to the game, and dinner at a 5-star restaurant. News is a service of Valdecast Windows. Contact them today for 50% off installation, now through September 2nd. If you're a discerning homeowner looking for high-quality and professional-level window replacement service, visit Valdecast.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Sean Thompson for Donley Auctions. Donley Auctions wants your stuff. They have buyers. They need your items. If you're a collector, contact them and find out the market value. If you know a collector, tell Donley about them. If they sell it, you'll get a Donley's Finder fee. Cha-ching, cash in your pocket. Randy, what are you on the hunt for now?
We need collectibles for our auction, and you need some extra cash. Not sure what you have? Call us. We know the value, and then you can make the decision. With our worldwide auction audience, we get top dollar. Here's your chance to add some additional money when you need it. 815-923-7000, 815-923-7000. Check us out at DonleyAuctions.com.
Do you have any of these? Call Donley. You know anyone that has any of these things? Call Donley and get Donley's Finder's fee. Donley Auctions, 815-923-7000. Tell them Sean sent you.
On August 30th, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world. We have just forgotten it.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Reagan in theaters Friday, August 30th. Rated PG-13. May not be suitable for children under 13.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
In 2012, the Journal of Cognition and Emotion published a study that showed that we make a decision to trust a person within 100 milliseconds of seeing their face. Making a good first impression has never been more important, and you can make that positive impression with a professional headshot from Tom Killoran Photography. Whether you're a job seeker trying to land your next position, or you're looking to build your business by connecting with prospective clients and customers, you need a high-quality headshot to use with your resume, portfolio, website, or other marketing materials. The experts at Tom Killoran Photography can work with you to capture the exact look you need for your professional presentation. Tom Killoran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see a sample of their work, just visit KilloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN Photography.com. Or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Killoran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak, taking a look at the roads. An accident. This is on the outbound Eisenhower at East Avenue in the left lane. 35 minutes going out. The inbound Eisenhower solid at 50, 390 on in. The Eden's up to 38 minutes. Lake Cook Road to Montrose. Kennedy, 1 hour. O'Hare into downtown. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. On the Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th Street on in, Titan Express, 51st to the Chinatown feeder. Heavy inbound 57, 111 to the Ryan, DuSable Lakeshore Drive. That's busy northbound. And the northbound Tri-State heavy near the Eisenhower. Traffic is a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations, combining heritage and innovation in every cup, hot air roasted locally and cold blended in small batches to ensure premium quality. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
For today, humid with clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Charles Thomas, former ABC7 political reporter.
Yep,
that's you. That's you. And Charles, the Kamalanomics plan, it's real. Not just the price controls to combat price gauging. Yeah, I want to say it right. Mm-hmm. But also this remarkable proposal that has been ridiculed every other time it's been brought up, but not this time because obviously we have a serious thinker who's promulgating it now. I'm talking about the unrealized capital gains tax that Kamala suggests she wants to impose. And by the way, the idea that that's never going to happen. Oh, that's not constitutional. There are a lot of things that are never going to happen that happen. There are a lot of things that are unconstitutional that are backed by the force of law at present. So I wouldn't be so quick to dismiss ideas just because they're ridiculous. We live in increasingly ridiculous times. And remember the left's position as so nicely articulated by the head of the Human Rights Campaign, a Kamala ally. We need to be more revolutionary than what the founders wrote in that little piece of white paper. So enter Kamala econ advisor Bharat Rama, who was on CNBC with Joe Kernan and Becky Quick to defend said proposal.
Unrealized gains, taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word. In the very best sense, if you are taxing unrealized gains, all you're doing is pulling forward the taxes that would be paid later when someone actually sells the stock.
I think that this reaction to unrealized gains is a little funny, given that I bet that the majority of people watching right now are already paying a tax on unrealized gains. It's called a property tax. When the value of your home goes up,
it's a use tax.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes, even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way a stock moves, the way something else moves. That's always the go-to answer. It's also, property tax is a use tax. You're paying for the schools, you're paying for emergency services. Those are things that make absolute sense.
And sure, and all the revenue that comes in from these unrealized gains taxes and the other taxes in the Harris plan are going to go to creating what she calls more opportunity. It's to make sure that every newborn born in this country gets $6,000.
Using the services.
Well, look, you're arguing that this is some sort of foreign concept that's completely unknown in the U.S. tax code.
It's probably unconstitutional. It's probably, and it was never in anyone's intent to tax.
It's not an income tax,
and it's never going to happen. Probably. Not in, well, I'm not going to say my lifetime.
I wouldn't say that.
Not in Becky's lifetime. Yeah.
I wouldn't giggle about it. I do share Kernan's exhaustion with this trope. We already pay unrealized capital gains taxes called your property taxes. I think Becky Quick did a pretty good job of responding there. For more on this and other matters, financial, pleased to be joined by Christopher Whalen, investment banker and chairman of Whalen Global Advisors, also the author of Ford Men, From Inspiration to Enterprise, and editor for the Institutional Risk Analyst. Chris Whalen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
So you want to take a whack at the unrealized capital gains tax proposal?
Well, it's aspirational politics. I think Becky did a great job pushing back. The left in this country has, left the bounds of earth. They will propose anything that they think will get them traction with voters. And since half of all voters are basically living paycheck to paycheck and don't have a lot of money in the bank, it is more appealing now than it has been in the past. I'm in the middle of editing my re-release of my first book, and this last 15 years has been really strange. Nobody would last 15 years. So the Democrats shouldn't surprise you that they're coming up with such crazy ideas, because this is just where they're headed. You know, you saw it with Kennedy when he endorsed Trump. He said, my father, my grandfather, and my dad was a biographer of Joe Kennedy, would not recognize this party because of the ideas they keep espousing. So, you know, I think Kamala is going to force everybody in the country, everybody in the business community to oppose her. That's essentially what she's doing, because she's so far out there that even a left-of-center business person is going to have trouble supporting her.
So, I mean, just to give us a little bit of a scenario from your perspective. I mean, if a unrealized capital gains tax was passed, say, I think she's proposed 21%, 15%, 10%, 30%, whatever. What would the consequences be?
I think you would probably see people selling. I also think it would increase the tendency for wealthy Americans to move offshore, simply because they can see the writing on the wall. If you're a very wealthy person, you're probably already shopping for offshore domiciles to shelter you from the craziness in American politics. You know, real historians know that we've had periods of very intense socialism in this country, and I think we're heading back there. If you think about the early part of the 20th century, you know, the 20s particularly, we had some really nasty socialists. These were the people who ended up teaching the likes of Barack Obama and others. So it's not like this is new. It's not. It's just that it's come back in the age of affluence, in the age when we can borrow money endlessly, or we think we can borrow money endlessly, right, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is going to come to an end. We're one bad Treasury auction away from the wake-up call. You know, it's like we're all asleep right now having this really strange dream, something out of the House of Dragons or something. And now the bell's going to ring, and the Fed will have to buy an entire Treasury auction.
I'm starting to think that Elon Musk might be onto something, and that we're all in one big simulation.
Yes,
I
totally agree.
I can't. I'm like poking my hand to see if I really feel it.
But there's such a difference between the perception of people inside Washington and the rest of the country when it comes to economics. It's striking.
Jared Bernstein's still trying to figure out why the government borrows money in the first place. Biden's top economic advisor.
Well, it's like an 8-track tape. It goes round and round, you know.
But, and I'm not here to flack for the uber wealthy, because they got plenty of flacks. But the idea that you can run from this, where exactly are you going to run to? And by the way, they will chase you when you run. California, Kamala's home state there, I mean, they were kicking around an exit tax to chase you down for essentially clawing back money you made while you were in California when our Laffer moves.
New York too.
Yeah.
New York is headed in that direction.
Of course they are, and then they'll impose a federal wealth tax. I mean, is everybody going to live in Bermuda or the Antilles? I mean, at some point you have to stand and fight, I think.
I totally agree with you. I'm not going anywhere, but Hamilton is very attractive to many people.
Yeah.
U.S. law, it's not one of the crazy islands down south. It's actually a respectable venue. So you'll see more and more of that. But I think ultimately these things come in cycles. This is the end of the baby boom party. It's like a 40-year-long keg party on the beach. And now we're kind of done, and we're going to have to figure out a way to run the country in a reasonable way without world wars and other kinds of disturbances. I remember Freeman Dyson, who I got to meet a couple of times at Princeton, used to say, we're really good at replication, but we're still working on metabolism. And I think that was one of the more interesting insights I've ever heard about economics.
Yeah, we're at the end of this keg party, and Annette Funicello looks like hell, Chris. I mean...
But you know what? I have hope because, I'm a Trump supporter, and I think that Kamala Harris, who does not exist politically, she has zero political image or, recognition in this country. And I think she's going to basically campaign herself into a defeat. They really, the media is so skewed, as you know, Dan. But unfortunately, the left cadres who follow Kamala, they listen to the media too. So they don't know about immigration. They don't know about inflation. They don't know about the cost of housing. These are the three issues that will decide this election. It won't be reproductive rights, and it won't be any of the rest of this nonsense. $25,000 for a starter home. That's not going to move the needle. That's not what people want to hear right now.
150 if you're an illegal immigrant in California.
No, but she is going to force the entire business community to run against her. If she really goes out with taxes on unrealized gains, forget about it. Forget it. The corporates in this country, believe it or not, still have a lot of power, and people like Warren Buffett still have a lot of power. That's why they started ordering Kamala around. Remember that one guy who had written her a big check and then ordered her to fire the head of the FTC?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's crony capitalism. I wrote a piece about this for American Conservative years ago.
Well, no, I mean, Chris Cuomo's moment of clarity on the floor of the DNC last week, where he's pointing up at all the corporate suites they paid $500,000, $1 million, including the corporate media, to have these suites, to have access. So you have these new Bolsheviks like Comrade Bernie and everybody else railing against the billionaires and the corporate titans and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, they're literally looking down at them like Caesar, watching it all play out. And the joke is on anybody who doesn't see the rent-seeking, the cronyism that you're talking about.
Well, no, precisely. These are... if you think about it, and I don't mean this as a criticism, but most big companies today are run by managers. These are people that don't generally have large equity stakes in the business. They didn't start the business. And likewise, on the left, you see these functionaries, these little paper pushers who go to meetings and, give press conferences, but they have no substance. And I say this as someone who has worked in finance during the Biden administration. I have interacted with all the major agencies in Washington that do money, and they are largely incompetent. I really say that honestly. They don't understand what the hell they're talking about. So sooner or later, they're going to crash and burn, Dan. That's it. God help us if Kamala wins. Oh, my God.
Well,
this is going to be scary.
That was a pretty close approximation of Gecko's Teldar paper rant. Not bad. But what about folding in Tim Walz to the conversation too? Don't forget about Coach Walz. It's fascinating. The worst governed states in America, the states that are performing the worst economically, are the breeding ground for national politicians for this new Bolshevik party. Minnesota ranks 46th in the nation for per capita GDP, 47th for job creation. Pritzker was a finalist. Illinois is the worst in the nation at everything. California is maybe a tick ahead. New York, Kathy Hochul was seen and heard from. I mean, this is their bench. This is their all-star lineup. All the people who lord over states that are dumpster fires.
Well, nothing's changed. You recall Al Smith. How many times did poor Al run? And similarly today, they didn't have a candidate other than Biden. And now Kamala Harris has been thrown in there. But think about the fact that even though the Democratic Party is run by bosses, just like the Republican Party used to be a century ago, right? These people still can't organize themselves to pick a decent candidate who's in his 40s or 50s. They just can't do it. It's really quite striking if you think about it. It's not just the states, Dan. As a group, they don't have any acceptable, attractive candidates.
Yeah, it's like the Illinois Republican Party, Charles.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe they should put Kamala in a wheelchair. That would help. It'd be just like Franklin. But Franklin was so conservative compared to these people. I keep thinking about Robert Kennedy's comments. It's night and day. These aren't just European socialists. They're to the left of most people in Europe. And that's why I don't think they're going to do well at the polls. I really don't.
RFK Jr. is an interesting figure. I mean, he says a lot of things that that I agree with, and I think that are pretty good insights. And of course, he's been on the inside of this for a long time. I don't, go fully down the path with him on certain issues, but I wonder what your take on him is from a business perspective. Not a big fan of corporate America, as you well know. And to the extent that he is more than just a figurehead on a Trump transition team, but it has any influence in a Trump second term, what's your perspective on that?
Well, he's clearly turned off by big corporate America, which is not hard to do, especially if you focus on health care and related issues. That is not a pretty picture. But at the same time, we don't yet have a consensus among conservatives to use antitrust. We keep thinking, we can't, contradict the great corporate titans. No, yes, we can. There are a lot of combinations out there that are driven by private equity that make no sense. And then later we see the destruction and the detritus from the collapse. How many companies have we seen gone bankrupt after the bankers have taken all the capital out? I have a problem with that. So, I think Robert Kennedy has some interesting things to say, but it's not 100% a conservative message by any means.
No, understood. Yeah, just was curious. Christopher Whalen, investment banker and chairman of Whalen Global Advisors, author of Ford Men from Inspiration to Enterprise, and editor for the Institutional Risk Analyst. Chris Whalen, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great holiday, guys.
You too, and he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Eric, the CEO of Ultimate Tax Group. With my 2 decades of experience, I have helped thousands of hardworking American taxpayers like yourself. If you owe back taxes to the IRS or state or have any unfiled tax returns, personal or business, never give up. My team and I want to help you take your freedom back today. Call Ultimate Tax Group at 888-505-1099. Speak with me, Eric, or one of my associates. My team has over 75 years of experience in understanding the tax laws and tax resolution programs. We will dissect your case and map out a successful strategy. You have rights as a taxpayer. We can stop any aggressive actions. We care and fight for our clients. Call Ultimate Tax Group at 888-505-1099, 888-505-1099.
I don't need to tell you how important a good night's sleep is, but like most people, sometimes you can't fall asleep or you wake up during the night. That's why I want to tell you about Z-Factor. Z-Factor is a 100% drug-free way to help you fall asleep faster, sleep longer, and sleep better. Z-Factor is from the makers of Relief Factor. Now, Z-Factor uses a formula of 4 all-natural ingredients to calm your mind and relax your body so you ease into sleep faster and sleep through the night. Just ask Maureen G. She said, quote, "This product broke a 15-year nightly cycle of lying in bed for hours before falling asleep," unquote. Or Bernard K., who said, "It cut down significantly the amount of times I wake up." Rediscover the joy of a great night's sleep, just like Barbara, who called it the best sleep I ever had. Try Z-Factor from Relief Factor and save 46% on your first order. Just go to ReliefFactor.com to order, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF for Z-Factor.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
At Signature Bank,
Going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Honey, have you seen our roof after that storm last night? I think we need to call someone.
Don't worry, we got the shingle company on speed dial.
But I keep hearing in the news recently how dangerous sloped roofs can be. Our home in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point.
Well, the shingle company isn't afraid of any sloped roofs. Their safety record is spotless, their warranty unmatched, and they offer a low-price apples-to-apples guarantee. Besides, it costs us nothing to get a quote.
The Shingle Company, your local roofing experts who handle even the steepest of slopes with ease. Whether it's residential or commercial roofing, they've got you covered. With 3 generations of building experience, they're also experts in siding, gutters, windows, and more.
I am so glad we called them, and I can't believe our insurance covered practically the whole project.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plus, I love that they're proud supporters of AM 560.
Visit the Shingle Company today at shingleco.com. Again, that's shingleco.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, I know, Charles, I've seen you've been scribbling over there. I know you're ready for 737 when we offer our suggestions for the redesign of the Illinois state flag. Yeah, Ali G., the Secretary of State, well done, Illinois, has initiated a redesign of Illinois state flag to rid the land of Pritzker of the unsightly vestige of white supremacy, colonialism, toxic masculinity, and all sorts of other ills that the flag currently represents. So we're going to take your suggestions so we can get a submittal in just as soon as possible. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Your suggestion for the features on the new State of Illinois flag at 737. Now we check the headlines with Crystal Blue.
Morning, it's 73 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Crystal Blue in the AM 560 newsroom. Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 83. One man is dead and 2 others are wounded following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side. Police say the victims were shot last night while standing on the sidewalk in the 6200 block of South Campbell Avenue. One of the victims died at the scene while the other 2 were hospitalized in fair condition. No arrests have been made. A man is accused of robbing a bank in suburban Evanston earlier this month. Jeffrey Selasky has been charged in federal court. Prosecutors say Selasky robbed an Associated Bank branch in Evanston on August 3rd. A day earlier, he attempted to rob a Huntington Bank branch in Chicago. Selasky committed the crimes while on court-supervised release following a prison term for a prior bank robbery conviction. Chicago Public Schools Inspector General is heading out east. Will Fletcher resigned as CPS Inspector General last Friday to launch an oversight agency in New York. The Board of Education will vote today to name Deputy Inspector General Amber Nesbitt as the acting Inspector General. News is a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations, combining heritage and innovation in every cup. Hot air roasted locally and cold blended in small batches to ensure premium quality. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John this Saturday afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right this Saturday afternoon at 4, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
What a waste of time, money, and vacation days. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. And if you've had a bad knee or hip replacement surgery, you know exactly what I'm talking about because sometimes the surgery doesn't even work. But there is an alternative, QC Kinetics. Check it out before you go under the knife. QC Kinetics uses your own body's properties to repair damaged joint tissue due to arthritis or an injury. Folks, it's regenerative medicine. Think about it. If you cut your hand, it eventually heals. But don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself with a free consultation. And what's really cool is the fact that Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, the National Medical Director and former orthopedic surgeon, is located right here in the Chicago area. Call now to end your chronic pain and learn more about QC Kinetics. They have new locations in Gurnee and Crystal Lake. Saturday appointments available. The number to call is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
On August 30th, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world. We have just forgotten it.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall!
Reagan in theaters Friday, August 30th. Rated PG-13. May not be suitable for children under 13.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. With the Democratic National Convention behind us, and as Election Day is coming fast, we need to recognize what we've been watching. It's an attempt at rebranding. Kamala Harris has been politically rebranded, and, in political terms, you'd have to say with enormous success. And with the complicity of the mainstream media, they're basically trying to make her the next president of the United States. It's almost as if the instructions for the Kamala Harris nomination are just add water and stir, because that's pretty much what the Democrats have done. It all just shows how determined they, that means the Democrats and their elite media allies, are to reverse what they had expected as a blowout loss with Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. But if you want to know why the Democrats are so excited, it's also because of this. Younger Democrats understand that they win if Kamala Harris wins. They didn't feel that way about Joe Biden. Harris, they know, is a San Francisco Democrat, far to the left of Joe Biden. The American electorate had better pay attention, and it better pay attention quickly. I'm Albert Mohler.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak, taking a look at the roads. Busy outbound side of the Stevenson Ashland to Pulaski with an accident at Pulaski, 30 minutes on out. The inbound trip solid at 55 on in. The Edens inbound 40 minutes, Lake Hook Road to Montrose. Kennedy going in 1 hour. O'Hare into downtown. Inbound Eisenhower also checks in at 1 hour from 390 on into the post office. Inbound side of the Dan Ryan, 35 95th on in. Express are tight from 59th to the Chinatown feeder ramp. Heavy conditions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Either way, very heavy northbound Tri-State and eastbound Reagan Roosevelt to the Eisenhower. Traffic is brought to you by Blue Star Security. Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you and your business. Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Humid today with intervals of clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 political reporter.
Good morning, Dan.
Morning, sir. Charles, this is exciting. It's an exciting time to be alive in Illinois.
Yeah, lots going on. Lots going on down in Springfield, man.
Well, I don't want to focus on these dollars and cents issues that you obsess about.
Yeah.
You know.
No. There's important stuff to take care of.
Yeah.
And our new Secretary of State,
former mob banker, now Secretary of State, Ali G.
Ali G.
Yeah.
Ali G. Alexei Janulius
Mm-hmm.
has a. Is it you call this a contest or what?
I would say it's a contest because the submittals will be presented to the public. I assume Jaws Durango will pick the finalists, or some of Ali G's other mob friends pick the finalists, and then the public will get a chance to select what they think is the best new design of
The state flag.
the Illinois state flag.
Yep.
Yeah, we need a new flag. That's I've felt that there's something just a little off about the state of the state. And I know it's not the political leadership or the school systems
Or the debt.
or the economic climate or anything. It's something that was it felt like a little stale, a little dated. And you know what it was? Then I took a look at it after this enlightened announcement from Ali G. And I said, yeah, it's the state flag.
You know, the number of people leaving the state to go to other points, even in the country, you know, this will stop a lot of that. I mean, when people see that new flag, whatever it will be, they'll say, boy, I'm going to stay in Illinois, continue to pay the taxes there, and just raise my family in Illinois, because that flag is really bumping.
Well, it's really bumping, and it's something you can fly proudly, like the trans awareness flag. And what a compliment it would be. Maybe one and the same.
Oh my God! I just had an idea.
What? Give it to
Go
me.
ahead.
No.
We'll talk about that later.
I don't want to. We don't want to lose it.
We could incorporate rainbows in the flag.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, quoting from one of our bettors here, the reform mob banker turned Secretary of State, great opportunity to create something that truly embodies and celebrates our great state. The beauty of this process is the public involvement. We're not only encouraging folks to let their creativity flow and run their idea up the flagpole. Wonderful. But they also have the chance to make their voice heard by choosing their favorite. Some of the things here, and take your calls on this, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line with suggestions. Design elements can include the history, culture, or natural features of Illinois. Too bad that spindle in Berwyn is down, the car spindle. There are no limits on the exact shape, but the commission may edit your design. There are no limits on how many colors you can use. Please make it as Benetton ad as possible, though the commission recommends no more than 3. 3 does not represent the rainbow, sir. And then you upload the files and so on and so forth. You can still enter if you're under 18, if you work with a parent, guardian, teacher, or other adult mentor. If you're part of the role model club that Kamala and Tim started at that school in Georgia, and you can't use AI, it's got to be original work. All right, so let's get that. Now, do people know what the state flag looks like? Let me provide a little bit of a refresher, because there are elements here. You can incorporate them or not. Let your creativity flow. The mob banker wants you to. The flag, as it's currently constituted, this vestige of, nuclear family and literacy, terrible things, is an eagle with a ribbon. The inscription on the ribbon is State Sovereignty, National Union. The American eagle is got a stars and bars adorned shield in his clutches. And he is perched on a rock that is under a grassy spot with water in the background and sunlight further in the background. Is that a fair description?
That is a fair description.
Okay. All right. So if you want to stick with a bird, what kind of bird? If you want to stick with the inscribed ribbon in the bird's mouth or somewhere else, bird's beak, what's the inscription? If you want a slogan, if you want to incorporate other flags, some to appropriate some other flags from that are also representative of Illinois in this new amalgamated flag. All right, so what do you got, Charles?
A pure distraction. A pure distraction. But, on the other hand, this is all part of the Marxist playbook. They want to eliminate the past. Now, I know Alexei Janulius. Alexei Janulius is not a communist. But
he's just another grifter.
Well, not only that, but I think he's a loyal Democrat who's being pulled in to the undertow.
He's not being pulled in. He's sprinting in.
But they got to understand that this is part of the Marxist playbook. Even in Minnesota, where they, of course, we've been talking about Minnesota a lot
the Somali
lately,
flag.
with the so-called Somali flag, the redesign of the Minnesota flag. This is all part of that movement to separate what is now unburdened by
what has been.
By what has been.
Yes, right.
This is all part of the Marxist playbook. And they're doing it with the flag.
Well, you don't want to be the nail sticking up, so you better play along.
Yeah.
I think this is like voting in the Soviet Union. We're taking submittals, and you better submit something. Comrade, why did you not submit some suggested redesign?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's all part. Connect the dots, folks. Please connect the dots.
Kurt in Lamont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, morning, Dan. Morning, Charles. Listen, I got a call from the Field Mouse Anti-Defamation League. They asked me to ask you to stop comparing them to Randy Weingarten. They're very insulted. But,
all right, on the flag.
Regarding the flag,
yeah,
I think it would be great to have a flag that really tells you how people in Illinois are on the move. And my idea is to have the outline of the state of Illinois in the center with a moving van in the middle of it, and then all of the states that people are moving to around the edges, and then roads leading to that. So, what do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very unifying. Bringing. I like that, and it's sort of state, but then it gives you the larger. I was thinking about that, especially when Charles was talking about the Exodus too. You just it's just a stream of people. Think like the image of the Israelites fleeing Egypt. And maybe I don't know who would be leading them. A la Moses. Thanks for the call, Kurt. But like that, just like going into the sunset, just this mass of something there. Mike in Deerfield.
This is a long story I'm going to try to make short. About a year ago, my daughter enlisted a quote-unquote friend to help her sell a vehicle, and the guy purported to have found a buyer for what I paid for it, but then took possession of the car. I hope Alexei Janulius is listening, because I've now been missing a 2017 GMC Acadia for about a year, and I like that thing right on the flag.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Mike. Steve in Oswego.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Charles. Charles, I think you really hit it on the head. This is part of the broader cultural revolution that they're trying to implement here, just like in Red China. But the other point I was going to make is that really, who cares? We're sitting here rearranging the chairs on the deck of the Titanic after it's hit the iceberg.
Thanks for the call, Steve. Well, maybe you could borrow from the Titanic, and you'd be we're the those musicians that played while the Titanic sank. I I don't know. That's uniquely Illinois. You know, I'm thinking of the bird. You know, people like birds on flags. People like having state birds.
Yeah, but that eagle, man, that's too.
That's
way
very
too American.
Very toxic. Yeah, exactly.
Toxic.
It's very
Toxic eagle.
very Eurocentric.
Thank you.
I'm thinking ostrich. Wouldn't that be more appropriate?
With his head in the sand.
Yeah.
On the as long as you put the head in the sand.
Well, yeah, but that's when you think ostrich, you immediately think what you just said.
You could have an ostrich without its head in the sand.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. Well.
What about the inscription? You know, state sovereignty, national union. That is not very, central planning friendly. That sop to federalism.
You mean what's on the?
On the ribbon.
The ribbon.
Yeah.
But that you got to have a ribbon. I mean, do you need a ribbon? Do you need I don't think you need any words.
I think you could. I think. I mean, it doesn't have to be Latin because that harkens back to an era of literacy.
I think you should put items on the flag or things or images on the flag that people can relate to what Illinois is today.
What about a chalk outline?
That'd be never. Maybe you could incorporate that into the Chicago flag.
Yeah.
But the rest of the state, I think they might not really go for that.
Well, but I mean, the rest of the state is sort of spare parts for Chicago, if we're being honest. I mean, who cares about the rest of the state? We're Chicago-centric.
There should be something on there that should denote an image that would denote the state's great leadership now. I mean, the leadership of the state. Illinois is being led very well led.
Let's see if Ralph from Rantoul is a pretty good marketer. Let's see what he's got. Ralph?
Yeah, good morning, Charles. Good to hear your voice as always.
Good morning.
So you got to queer up the eagle. So you got to take the red feathers and color them up. All right. The ribbon has to say not Latin but Pig Latin, Ypres. Okay. Because that's what's happening to Illinois, and maybe
Pig Latin is perfect. That is a perfect transition to our era of illiteracy. That's good. I like that.
And printed because nobody knows how to write anymore, so it's got to be printed. Something big, all cap letters with hearts for the O's or dot the I's with heart, and maybe mix your capital with your lowercase. Like you see among certain people, and
make it like a ransom note. Yeah.
And I'm also thinking I was trying to work in there someplace an homage to the leader that is spearheading this change. So either something like a brand new porcelain toilet that looks like it either is going out or coming in. All right, a jelly donut. With rainbow sprinkles, because you got to queer up the eagle and you got to queer up the bird. I mean, the food. It's all got to be queer. It's got to be super queer.
I think we've got a winner.
Yeah, that's not bad. The only thing is like the toilet. Maybe make it a golden toilet, just because then that incorporates the golden that golden thing that Rod Blagojevich had too.
Yeah, but Dan and Charles, it's also got to be an elongated bowl because there's no way that Pritzker fits on a little round one.
Well, maybe you just put the jelly donut in a diaper, and that's representative. You do something that's a little bit more Dali. You do something a little bit more surreal. You don't have to be so on the nose.
Yeah, well, or the eagle with a donut in one hand and a hammer and sickle in the other.
That's not bad. That's not bad either. Yeah. All right. Good spitballing session. Thanks for the call, Ralph.
We're working on it.
Yeah. I thought Ralph was going to suggest an inscription, what he gave us, Gimme Dat. But I guess that's already taken by BLM Brandon's forthcoming grocery chain.
Gimme Dat?
Gimme Dat.
Gimme
was thinking of another inscription, too. I mean, again, this is pulling from a classic, which probably is an affront. But I'm thinking of the entrance to hell in Dante's Divine Comedy. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here.
Yeah, they could incorporate, I think, too, some of the accomplishments of the Pritzker administration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's also weed. I mean, we should be able to get weed in there some kind of way, because we do have a lot of weed going on.
Yeah, you're right on the iconography. So thinking about our staples, weed, abortions, slot machine, or video poker, and currency exchange.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what do you
but
think?
I don't know that given the fact that our Secretary of State is a former banker, what do you think? How do you think he would? I don't know that would fly.
Well, I mean, again, it's
do they compete, currency exchanges and banks, or are the currency exchanges basically an extension?
No, I think the currency exchanges are sort of a different clientele. Yeah, some of Josh Durango's friends, perhaps. Marlene, I should say, at Midway.
Hi.
Hello.
You're missing out on the bird here.
Okay.
It's got to be a vulture.
That's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a vulture, and because I'm near Pulaski, there's a lot of drifting going on over here that nobody's doing anything about. You got to have some cars in circles with people hanging out of the cars with guns.
Okay. This is getting to be quite a busy flag. Thanks for the call, Marlene. I do like the vulture picking at a taxpayer's carcass.
But what about diversity? I mean, I think we need some diversity in this flag. I think that's one of the reasons that they're doing this.
It's true. I mean,
so
we had some ideas from Ralph from Rantoul about transing up the donut and
transing up the donut. How do you trans a donut?
I don't know. I'm not the artist here. I'm just an idea guy. Leave that to the artist.
That's something to think about for the audience to think about. How do you trans up a donut?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure there's a way. Rick in Union.
I don't even want to think about how you trans up a donut.
Yeah.
But my suggestion is maybe the Eagle has a pot leaf in one hand, a slot machine handle in the other hand, and I think the ribbon needs to say, "We pay top dollar for return of U-Hauls."
All right. Thanks for the call, Rick. How about that quote that's attributed to Stalin, just thinking of inscriptions? It's not the people who vote that count, it's the people who count the votes.
Or show me a man, I'll show you a crime.
No, sure.
Something like that.
Yeah. Dean in Sarasota, Florida.
Actually in Biloxi today, Dan and Charles.
Nice.
But how about a stream of people, of taxpayers? The first one, of course, has got to be the white oppressed man, maybe followed by an indigenous person and then LGBT and everybody else, and they kind of wind their way up to the throne. And you got JB on the throne, Jelly Belly, and when you get up to the throne, you have to hold your ankles, and JB's got an ear of corn. That way, and the tagline is, "Please, sir, can I have another?" I think that encapsulates the agricultural aspect of Illinois.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, the agricultural aspect was sort of a village people lineup. Yeah.
Dean, have we ever met?
It's creative.
Yeah,
Dean? You're thinking along the same lines?
Yeah, man.
Grant and Rockford.
Stole my thunder there, Dan. It's got to be an outline of Chicago lording for the rest of us hicks and the sticks that don't matter, sucking up all of our money.
All right. Thanks, Grant. Larry in Elmhurst.
Hey, good morning. Hey, on every corner of the flag, you got to have an illegal family from South America with holding up the sign. And at some point on that flag, you have to have the MS-13 insignia on there, too.
Thanks, Larry. Joe in East Dundee.
Yeah, you guys cracked me up. This is still the land of Lincoln. I live out here in Dundee. We have Eagle families right on the river here by my house. And
well, get out. You're not welcome here. Leave.
Hey, my big question is, can Dana Bash ask Kamala if she's a communist or not in her little, chat room tonight?
Thanks for the call, Joe. More importantly, she asked them what did she think about the redesign of the state flag. Maybe Tim Walz can weigh in since they just did it in Minnesota, as you were mentioning, Charles. Get some suggestions from the role models, Kamala and Tim. That is, I have the little portmanteau, Kim. Yeah. All right, coming up at 7:07, we'll talk to J.D. Bush. Now it is 8 o'clock, AM 560 WIND.
Breaking her silence, I'm Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. After nearly 40 days, Vice President Kamala Harris finally set to sit down for her first interview tonight in Georgia, but she's not going to do it solo.
The sit-down pre-taped interview with Vice President Kamala Harris is set to air on CNN tonight, and she's doing it with her vice presidential pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Walz, for his part, preferred to promote a different event Wednesday before a group of firefighters in Boston.
Kamala Harris, she's ready to hold him accountable on the debate stage. Tell me you're not looking forward to that.
The focus, though, among her critics is on policy. Tuesday, former President Trump's VP pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, told a rally in Michigan that she's copying the former president's policies.
In fact, I've heard that for her debate in just a couple of weeks, she's going to put on a Navy suit, a long red tie, and adopt the slogan, "Make America Great Again."
The debate is scheduled for September 10th. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Harris and Walz will wrap up a 2-day bus tour in Savannah, Georgia today. Yesterday, they visited a high school.
We wanted to come by just to let you know that our country is counting on you. All of you. You are leaders.
Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump is hitting a pair of swing states as new polling suggests his lead may be slipping.
The Trump campaign is going to be spending a lot of time here in Wisconsin, in Michigan, and in Pennsylvania, where they are hoping to turn Democrats' blue wall to red. We are told that Senator J.D. Vance is going to be playing a big role in those efforts, given his upbringing in Ohio and his ability to connect with blue-collar voters and communities who feel like they have been left behind. New Fox News polls show the race is tightening in battleground states across the Sun Belt, where Harris is outperforming Joe Biden's numbers and now narrowly leads Trump in Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada, while Trump holds a 1-point lead in North Carolina.
And that is Fox's Garrett Tenney reporting. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 74 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Crystal Blue in the AM 560 newsroom. Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 83. Thornton Township Supervisor and embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Haynard is addressing the public. Haynard spoke last night despite a special meeting of the Thornton Township trustees being called off. She's slammed recent actions by trustees to limit spending and enact a new credit card policy, claiming the moves have halted township services. Haynard has been under scrutiny following a series of controversies, including allegations of corruption and multiple investigations by local and federal agencies. Lawyers for the so-called ComEd 4 are calling for all charges against them to be dismissed. Ann Pramagiore, Michael McLean, John Hooker, and Jay Doherty were found guilty last year of conspiring to influence and reward former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan in order to assist with the passage of legislation favorable to the electric company. However, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in June that the federal bribery statute doesn't ban gratuities to public officials. Lawyers for all four filed a motion this week asking a federal judge to acquit all four defendants, arguing the entire prosecution was built on a rotten foundation. The Archdiocese of Chicago is offering a natural, eco-friendly burial option at a suburban cemetery. The natural burial plots will be located at Meadows of St. Kateri in a new section of St. Michael the Archangel Cemetery in Palatine. Natural burials emphasize simplicity and environmental responsibility by allowing the body to return to the earth naturally. The Hard Rock Casino Rockford is set to open to the public today. Governor Pritzker will be on hand for the grand opening. The new 175,000-square-foot casino resort will feature about 1,300 slot machines, 44 live table games, including a poker room, a sports book, 6 restaurants, and a Hard Rock rock shop. The Nielsen Trust, featuring Cheap Trick guitarist Rick Nielsen, will be performing to an invitation-only crowd. News is a service of Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of App Properties, Christie's International Real Estate, experts in the northwest suburbs and Chicago. With over $800 million in sales, you'll get the most value for your home. Call 708-828-0000. Again, 708-828-0000. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes, but time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Dollar General shares are down more than 20%. The discount retailer is reporting second quarter profit and sales that missed expectations, and it's also slashing its full year outlook, citing a financially constrained core customer. Nvidia shares are down 3%, though its earnings easily topped Wall Street's forecasts. Investors are looking at slower growth and wonder if the company can live up to its share price, which is up 150% this year. Salesforce shares are rallying. The business software company and parent of messaging app Slack reported an upbeat quarter. Yelp is suing Google. Yelp argues that Google places its own products ahead of its competitors. Earlier this month, a federal judge ruled that Google engaged in illegal practices. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
November 2nd, 2020, marked the 100th anniversary of the first commercial radio broadcast. We're still here, and we're bigger and better than ever. You can still listen to us over this great radio station, but now there are no limitations. Your smartphone is now your smart radio. Listen to us online on the app, TuneIn.com, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey.com. Your smart speaker can find us too. With radio, there is no separation anxiety. We're always on. AM 560, The Answer.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
As everyone can tell, we're living in turbulent times. During times of uncertainty like World War II and 9/11, people have often turned to God. In times like these, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville, Illinois reminds all Americans of the ancient promise found in 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. This is not a political statement. It's a call to all God-fearing Americans to do as God's word instructs. America needs healing now. Whether you're for the guy on the left or the right or neither, everyone needs to heed the word of God as 2 Chronicles instructs us. May God bless all our leaders and God bless the USA. This message is brought to you by Fox Valley Coins on Route 59, Naperville, Illinois.
On August 30th, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world. We have just forgotten.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall!
Reagan in theaters Friday, August 30th. Rated PG-13. May not be suitable for children under 13.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads. On the inbound Edens, 30 minutes, Lake Cook Road to Montrose. Kennedy inbound, an hour and 30 minutes from O'Hare into downtown. Eisenhower in, that is an hour and 10. 390 into the post office. Going in on the Stevenson, also an hour and 10. 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The outbound Stevenson sluggish near the Ryan from an earlier accident. 45 minutes inbound Ryan 95th Street on in. There are delays along DuSable Lakeshore Drive both directions. Southbound on the Veterans Memorial, good northbound showing some delays, and the northbound Tri-State as well. Traffic is a service of the Shingle Company. We've all heard about the dangers of climbing sloped roofs lately. Well, you can rest easy with the pros at the Shingle Company, your unafraid sloped roof experts. Contact them at shingleco.com. That's shingleco.com, and inquire about their low price guarantee today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
For today, humid with clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. But in for Amy this morning is Charles Thomas, former ABC7 political reporter.
Yep. Yep, that's me.
Charles, you're familiar with Francis Parker and Latin. These highly, prized in certain circles, certain WASPy circles. Private schools.
Very pricey.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Private schools.
And these, we spend a lot of time talking about the maleducation and indoctrination in big school systems like CPS, but the real incubators of hateful ideologies, not to mention bad economics, are these upper echelon private schools like Francis Parker and Latin. This is where the Vanguard class sends their kids to lord over the unwashed masses upon the completion of their matriculation.
The elites, as they call them.
So I was interested in this story by J.D. Bush that he recounted over at Chicago Contrarian about the Shipley School in Philadelphia, where he graduated, which is an analog to, say, a Francis Parker in Chicago. What does it say, what the story he shared about the Shipley School that has application beyond these elite private schools? In fact, it has application in every school. And it's another sort of story about, I heard about that story and the way people react to these things on the other events as the culture has become increasingly intolerant of dissent, disagreement, failure to comply philosophically. These are stories that just, I read about it. They happened to somebody else. They happened at somebody else's school, never mine. And so people are always surprised when it visits them. I'm talking about these, vile, brainless sort of orcs, to borrow from Lord of the Rings, that ascend from Middle Earth to ravage anything that has been targeted for elimination. J.D. Bush is a technology researcher, entrepreneur, and investor, and a graduate of the Shipley class of 1993. J.D. Bush, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. I didn't bring any caviar to the show, but I'll raise a virtual glass of champagne.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure a graduate of Shipley, you must be living the life of champagne wishes and caviar dreams, to borrow from Robin Leach, of course. So, JD, tell us about Shipley and the story of Shipley's descent into DEI madness and its application to those not fortunate enough to attend a Shipley or a Francis Parker.
Of course. And I think what I would say about Shipley, as you point out, is completely analogous to schools in Chicago like Loudoun and Parker. And in fact, in many cases, these schools are getting orders from the same accreditation organization, which is working with all of them, which is the National Association of Independent Schools. So what happened at Shipley, again, this could have happened at any private school. Heck, it could have even happened at some of the more progressive Catholic schools, and it's happening in CPS as well. And essentially, over the past 5 years, a DEI-based curriculum, much as you might have seen in companies as well, has become the focal point of what these organizations are teaching students and what faculty are told to believe. And the Achilles heel of DEI really calling attention to what happened, and I know you guys all the time talk about the oppressed-oppressor binary and all that stuff. I call it the spinning intersectional pinwheel of death. But the Achilles heel ended up being the Jewish student. And I knew what this was like to be like because I am one. And essentially, under DEI, Jews were lumped into the white category. And at Shipley, there was a lot of programming. They hired multiple DEI individuals full-time because, of course, these schools have money, as you point out. And there was a rise in anti-Semitism following October 7th. One of the DEI heads, who was subsequently fired, had posted some very lovely tweets on X, calling for the destruction of the Jewish state. The head of the school, who was fully trained by the party, if you will, acknowledged this, and when this DEI head was fired, blamed it on a Jewish mob of parents who pushed back. So there was no accountability. And essentially what happened in Shipley is very similar to what's happening at other schools right now. You have many parent revolts, and at this point in time, more parents are willing to speak up. I was one of the first. I was not a parent at the school, so I covered the firing of the original DEI head, actually on LinkedIn, the Interfork Contrarian. And essentially, again, I think the key lessons learned is this is happening everywhere. The Jewish student problem, if you will, in these schools really has blown open the egregious position of DEI. It's not debatable that, under DEI, there are good people and bad people. As I like to quote Animal Farm or channel it, black, brown, good, Jew, white, bad. And there's a chance to take back the schools now, finally.
Well, I mean, but in terms of the chance to take back the school, I mean, like we've seen with the university presidents in the Ivy League that have been deposed, I mean, there's not a take back of the school that's happening, even with donors saying, I'm not going to donate anymore, and so on and so forth, making a big show of it, who have donated hundreds of millions. It doesn't seem like the school is being taken back or the culture is really changing that much. In fact, look at what happened at Cornell on the first day of classes. They've vandalized the administration building so that the university president resigned from Cornell. That impacted exactly nothing in particular. It seems like this is so much more deeply rooted than taking out a university president or even a series of administrators or a professor here or an RA there. It's just part of the campus culture, and that redounds to these private schools at the K through 12 level as well. So how, I mean, what is the prospect of really taking back the school? Why don't they'll just get a new functionary that is more savvy than the guy fired for tweeting intemperate things?
That's a great question. Ultimately, and I spend most of my life in business and not writing about these things, but the beauty of private schools is that they are, in fact, corporations. Obviously, they are nonprofits. But you can look at their financials, you can look at their balance sheets, and you can look at enrollment numbers. And what's happening is very much like the election. People are voting with their feet. So when at Shipley, the number of students drops from 846 to 715, and the balance sheet drops in just a couple of years from 113 million to 101 million, people are leaving. And ultimately, I think what is beginning to happen is that parents are realizing that they can take action. It's also possible to sue the boards of these schools, and we've already seen some of that activity in different schools. But there is something in the nonprofit world which is really critical, which is called the duty of obedience. So if you're on a board in a traditional company, you've got a fiduciary duty, and you also obviously need to look at mission as well. But in the nonprofit world, if a nonprofit deviates from its stated mission, that is grounds potentially for a lawsuit. And board members can't be held liable. So the quote I heard in National Review in a piece they published on the same topic in the past week is that if 20% of parents speak up, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. And if 2% are litigious and they file lawsuits, it is possible to take these private schools back. I agree with you, though. It's a much greater uphill battle in a place like CPS. It's a much greater uphill battle at a place like Cornell or Penn, where I went. But again, more people are speaking up. I think the smaller battles will need to be fought now. This is the early stage of the war, right? These are the skirmishes. We can win these skirmishes at these smaller institutions. Ultimately, I don't know what's going to happen to these elite universities. I think there's a reckoning. And what I can tell you in business is that firms like mine and others are now looking to hire from the Big Ten, where historically we recruited at the University of Chicago and Northwestern and places like that. We are looking to expand, our focal point as to where we can recruit. We're also looking for students who didn't go to college, because that check the box no longer matters. We're looking at skills. So I think at the macro basis, at higher education, it's going to be a multi-year battle, but we can win these skirmishes, and that's what I want to encourage people listening to on the here. At Shipley, parents are winning. They fired the headmaster. There's a new headmaster in place. And I realize this is just an elite microcosm, but it's a proof point we can win.
One other point you raise in your piece is about the accreditation issue, and in the case of Shipley, the National Association of Independent Schools. But these accredited agencies are also captured by the left primarily, and so is this the NAIS? Should people understand these agencies that provide accreditation to schools that then they market and charge corresponding tuition and so forth? These accreditation agencies, are they an additional hurdle in the fight you're describing, or can they be used as an ally?
At this point, they need to be circumvented. No good is coming out of the National Association of Independent Schools, NAICS, guidance on DEI. NAICS is doing good work elsewhere, but you're right to say they've been captured. However, I like to think that it only takes 10%, 20% bad actors to capture an institution, and it only takes 10 or 20% to bring them back. I think the question is whether they are salvageable or new institutions will crop up for accreditation. I've spoken to a number of other alums and parents of these schools who are interested in creating new accreditation bodies, for example. So I think you're going to see some of that. I also think the market is speaking, the free market. So what you're seeing in different areas of charter schools focused on classical academies. So literally teaching students Latin, Greek, and the classics. These are public schools, where it's an alternative to the world of CPS around the country. So I think there's multiple paths out. But again, what I would encourage those affiliated, those donating money, is that these institutions can be reformed if enough vocal people like me speak up. But if they're not reformed, we are going to create new institutions alongside for accreditation. Now, what I will say as well is there are schools which are members of NAICS which don't follow this garbage. There are schools in Florida. There's a school in Indiana called La Lumiere, and they embrace diversity, but they do not embrace this radical notion of equity and DEI, where all of a sudden there are the oppressed and the oppressors, and everyone else is evil. So, you can still take the good and leave the bad, but ultimately, I think a lot of folks in the nonprofit world, and I'll just say this, are lazy, and they take all of it. But again, it only takes 10% or 20% of parents and those who give money to speak up and carry a stick
Can I ask a question? Can diversity be achieved organically? Do you feel it can be done organically in 2024?
Phenomenal question. Absolutely. And I can point to a lot of schools in Indiana, right across the border. There's a school called Forest Ridge Academy. It's a K through 8 school. It's incredibly diverse. I think white kids are 30% or 35%, and there's no DEI in this school. Everybody is treated equally. Arabs and Jews get along. Blacks and whites get along. There is none of this. So actually, I think if you begin to talk to minorities, this is what they want. They don't want DEI. People want to be treated as individuals. The moment you subject people to affinity groups, and all of a sudden all that matters is the group identity, the ego diminishes immensely. So I think the natural evolution is simple diversity. And I think if you talk to parents and those involved, that's what they want. There's nothing wrong with diversity. In fact, diversity is great. But it's when you have this false notion of equity placed inside that construct, which, by the way, is illegal, as we all know, and Robbie Starbuck is doing God's work in the corporate sector these days, exposing it. We can win and we can achieve a role which is diverse in these schools, but we can dump the equity.
J.D. Bush, technology researcher, entrepreneur, and investor, also Shipley, Philadelphia, class of 1993. Check out his piece at ChicagoContrarian.com. The prep school Bolshevik Revolution runs out of gas. J.D. Bush, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Join Allie Beth Stuckey and the Illinois Family Institute for the Faith, Family, and Freedom Banquet, 7 p.m. Friday, September 6th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. For tickets, go to IllinoisFamily.org.
Christianity brings civilization, goodness.
Allie Beth Stuckey, wife, mom, author, followed by thousands on her hit Relatable podcast. Hear her fresh and firm call for Christians to lead in Illinois, in America, for faith, family, and freedom. For tickets, go to IllinoisFamily.org.
Christians have always been on the front lines of human progress, set in love.
Allie Beth Stuckey and the Illinois Family Institute's Faith, Family, and Freedom Banquet, Friday, September 6th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. For tickets, go to IllinoisFamily.org. IllinoisFamily.org.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
Are you a business owner with a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, and a plan for growth, but you just need the right bank? Hi, Mike Gallagher here, letting you know that Signature Bank is all about going the distance for commercial banking customers. It's what Signature Bank does every day. Their team understands that accessibility is key to their culture. In times like these, you want a bank that is there for you to weather the bad times and capitalize on the good. And with Signature Bank by your side, you can't go wrong. It's a true partnership. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right, I'm a customer. I believe in what they have to offer, from innovative tech and customized solutions to help your business grow and thrive. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
If you have high blood pressure, you have the #1 risk factor for mortality.
Don't be a walking time bomb. Make this change and watch your blood pressure drop.
Order a 120 Life today.
Yes, 120 Life is an amazing blend of superfruit juices that can actually help lower your blood pressure.
It's been endorsed by thousands of health professionals and doesn't have the side effects of medication.
It's up to you to control your blood pressure, not Big Pharma.
Seriously, 120 Life could be the natural game changer in your life. Try it yourself risk-free with a 2-week trial pack. You've got nothing to lose but your high blood pressure.
Go to 120life.com and use promo code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping.
120 Life is so sure it can noticeably lower your blood pressure in just 2 weeks, they'll give your money back if you're not satisfied.
Order the 8-ounce drink or powdered mix. From pomegranates to cranberries, it's the delicious way to lower your blood pressure. It really works.
Go to 120life.com now. Use coupon code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the retirement tax bill calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at MVPCFP.com. That's MVPCFP.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to MVPCFP.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Hugh Hewitt weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, followed by Mike Gallagher at 9. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 8:38, Trump can win on character, argues Rich Lowry from National Review. He'll join us at 8:38 to develop that argument. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott. Crystal Blue, that is, in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. It's 74 degrees in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Crystal Blue in the AM 560 newsroom. Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 83. A man faces multiple gun charges in a shooting last week in Peoria that left a teen wounded. Police say shots were fired Friday night in the 1900 block of West Cattell Street. No victim was located at the scene, but it was discovered that a 16-year-old boy was taken to the hospital by a private vehicle with a gunshot wound to the chest. Investigators later identified Andrew Drummond as a suspect. The 19-year-old turned himself in on Tuesday. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul is charging 2 Chicago area residents of fraudulently applying for and receiving Paycheck Protection Program loans during the COVID-19 pandemic. Samantha Hauer of Elmwood Park and Dion Wilson of Warrenville each face multiple charges, including theft by deception and loan fraud. Raoul says both applied for PPP loans by falsely claiming that they owned businesses that didn't exist. The Illinois Environmental Protection is awarding more than $483,000 to 3 public water supply facilities in the state. The funds will be used to reduce each facility's energy consumption with cost-effective energy and efficiency upgrades to drinking water treatment operations. Recipients of the awards include the cities of Aurora, Highland Park, and Springfield. News is brought to you by Blue Star Security. Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you and your business. Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
This radio station is always on, but sometimes you need more content that you can take with you anywhere. That's why we invented the SalemPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find all the great hosts on this radio station, plus a few more, like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Trish Regan, Jenna Ellis, and Dennis and Julie. There's literally no end to what we can teach you. It's like radio on demand, and just like radio, it's always on. Go find out what you're missing. Download the app, SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. Since 1969, we've been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows. From modern to traditional styles, Marvin replacement windows and doors can bring your backyard right into your living space. Make your home feel brighter and more spacious. Our professional services, along with the best products like Marvin, are why we're proud of our 5-star reviews. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door experts in Chicagoland. Need new windows now? Buy now, pay later with 0% financing for 18 months. Terms and conditions apply. Visit woodlandwindows.com and schedule an appointment today. That's woodlandwindows.com.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
In the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak taking a look at the roads. It's 22 minutes on the inbound Edens from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. Kennedy inbound 50 minutes into the Jane Byrne interchange from Montrose. In from the airport, hour and 25. Going in on the Eisenhower, 1 hour and 25 as well. 390 into the post office, although it looks like it's starting to improve. Inbound Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The inbound Ryan, 35, 95th on in. Delays continue along DuSable Lakeshore Drive in both directions, as well as the northbound side of the Tri-State. Pretty heavy northbound on the Veterans Memorial Tollway, eastbound Reagan, slowing York to the Eisenhower. This report is sponsored by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals utilize their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Humid today with intervals of clouds and sunshine, high up to 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with widely separated thunderstorms, low 72. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow with a thunderstorm, humid, high up to 84. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Charles Thomas, former ABC7 political reporter.
Good morning.
And Charles, I think one of the things the Trump campaign has to decide on in terms of its strategery is death of 1,000 cuts or some sort of big ultimate question, right? The handle is that you want voters going into the polling place, which I think voting in some states starts in about 5 minutes. You want them thinking about one big question that you want them to either answer in the negative to vote against your opponent or answer in the affirmative to vote for you. And what we've seen since Kamala's entrance in the race is sort of the death of 1,000 cuts approach, where we're digging up all of the things that she said when she ran for president in 2020, things she said as attorney general and senator and so forth, the things she's done, legislation she's sponsored or co-sponsored during her time in the Senate. And it's, just sort of bouncing from one issue to the other with the idea that at some point you're going to paint a more holistic picture of her. For example, the latest clip of Kamala to be unearthed and circulated goes back to law enforcement. And we know we've done, abolish ICE is a discussion we should have, defund police, general antagonism in the direction of police, general support for people who sacked American cities during the summer of 2020, her Minnesota Freedom Fund, or as she might say, Freedom Fund support for people who were vandalizing and looting Minneapolis to help them make bail. Her latest is on the issue of cops in the classroom, or cops in schools, really, not necessarily the classroom, but the idea of hardening targets, a conversation we've had intermittently over the last decade when a tragic school shooting would happen, and what else can we do to protect kids at school and so forth. Well, this is what she said.
Being incarcerated for a couple of days is traumatic, much less the weeks, months, and years that we're seeing that happen. And so part of my plan is also a reduction of that. And then also, again, what we need to do about demilitarizing our schools and taking police officers out of schools. We need to deal with the reality and speak the truth about the inequities around school discipline. We're in particular.
So get the cops out of the schools. I mean, that's the approach that Chicago Public Schools have taken. That's the approach that the previous mayor and the current one certainly have taken. And is that right and proper? Is that and so is it that issue specifically? By the way, interestingly, the family member of a Sandy Hook victim. My brother was killed in Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting because of liberal policies like the one Kamala is pushing here. I wish there had been a police officer there to protect them. Students need more protection, not less. And that's, in some of the schools and neighborhoods that are not properly policed and not properly, where repeat violent offenders are not properly prosecuted in Chicago. Boy, if I had a parent in one of those schools, I'd want somebody there on watch, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, this whole notion of her not saying anything about her positions, I think it complements her strategy as it applies to early voting. Think about it. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be voting very soon who haven't heard her on anything.
That's it.
Knee-jerk vote
yeah.
Democrat.
That's it. Well, that's one of the issues, right? We talk about it, and then you assume, well, everybody knows the things she said about abolishing ICE and about defunding police and about cops in schools, and they don't. Now there are people trying to amplify it. The brother of that Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting victim. The National Association of Police Organizations also issued an endorsement of Trump. They also endorsed him in 2020, unsurprisingly. Kamala Harris has shown once again that she simply has no knowledge of what modern American police officers do. Well, and she doesn't much care. So the law enforcement is one of those, and violence in America's major cities in particular is one of those issues. That's, part of the larger conversation. But the question becomes strategically, is the Trump campaign and Trump himself, are they missing an opportunity to make the more holistic claim and drive that versus going bucket by bucket to fill it and hoping that they can deliver all of this by, well, as you say, by the middle of next month when early voting starts? For more on that question, we're pleased to be joined by Rich Lowry, who is the editor of National Review. He's also the author of The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. Rich, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So what about that? I mean, I don't know that the two are mutually exclusive, going issue by issue or issue area by issue area, and then arriving at sort of this holistic handle that you want people to have on your opponent. But there does seem to me a need to, order that progression, and maybe it's not as ordered as it could be right now.
Well, they're definitely not mutually exclusive. They're totally dependent on one another, and I don't think it's that complicated. I think it's Trump just calling her weak 50 times a day and saying, look what she did on the border. She didn't care, and she was weak. Look what she did in 19 and 20 when she said everything the left wanted to hear because she's weak. She couldn't win a nomination fight on her own because she's weak. Just hit that over and over again, and the phony thing, because once you've really fixed the idea that someone's weak or a phony, it doesn't matter what your positions are. If you're weak, you're disqualified to be president, or it's a major anchor on the case to getting there. Same thing with phony. It doesn't matter whether your positions are popular or not if people don't believe that you would carry through with them. So I don't think this is hard. I think they'll figure it out, some version of it. I don't know whether it's exactly the version I'm setting out, but this is how presidential campaigns are won. They're not won just on policy. They're won by disqualifying the other person.
Yeah, no, I agree. But and you use that word phony in your piece in the New York Times. That is, and that's what I've been fixated on too. I go back to this rally, this Trump rally in Atlanta, where he sort of was riffing as he is wont to do, and said, "Fight, fight, fight versus fake, fake, fake." Everything about her is fake. And fight, fight, fight sort of represents the strength. So I like that dichotomy, and I think it could be developed more. But it also is there's a little bit of messaging dissonance there too, because on the one hand you're saying and I'm saying she is a new Bolshevik who wants to tax unrealized capital gains. On the other hand, saying she's a phony, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do what she says.
Yeah, no, definitely. There is that tension, and I don't think. I like the alliteration of Comrade Kamala. I think it's kind of funny, but I don't think people are going to believe that she's a communist. I would go with calculating Kamala or something like that, with a K, calculating it with a K, the way the Kardashians do it. But something to get, she's a left-winger, that's what her instincts are. Biden, gun to his head, wouldn't have said most of the things she said in 2019, right? Because he's, all his other faults, he's still kind of a traditional Democrat, but she easily went there. But she is a vacuous opportunist on top of that. So there is a little tension, but, this isn't like a dissertation Trump's writing, right?
No, right.
You can have a little tension, and it can be a little contradictory.
Well, the other thing that I wonder, too, in the June debate, right, all this talk about Biden, he's probing, he's exacting, he's an intellectual dynamo, you should be in a meeting with him. It's dizzying because he's such a brainiac, and he's so on top of things, And I was just, okay, that's your handle on him. Fine. So that's what we're going to expect when we get onto that debate stage, and then we'll see what happens. I think it could be a moment on September 10th, similarly, and just go with the D.C. press corps' starry-eyed coverage of her. She is a once-in-a-generation force of nature with an unparalleled legal acumen. Okay, fine. Now let's just ask her some questions, and Trump should spend most of the time on that debate stage just asking her substantive policy questions that the moderators won't, and get her talking.
Yeah, so I think clearly the pressure for open mics from Harris was they want Trump just to interrupt her all the time, and then they'll make the debate about interrupting, and then they win a kind of victory. So I think the closed mics would be better. The old rules would be better. But this is the only opportunity he's going to have to expose her. The press isn't going to do it, or at least is not going to do it unless they feel real pressure to do it. But he's got to do it directly, and the job's much harder than Joe Biden. Joe Biden was just getting out of the way,
right?
And he did it, and he fell on his face, and that's not going to happen here.
Hey, Rich, this is Charles Thomas. Isn't this bottom line, though, a question of money and whether or not you're able to expose her in this new mediascape where you have to spend so much money in so many different places to combat what's happening in mainstream media? I'm speaking of the Trump campaign.
Yeah, money's important. She may now, outraise him, but they always figured they were going to be outraised, and at least prior to this Kamala surge, were exceeding their expectations where they would be on fundraising. But he's going to have enough money. It's not all about money. Money's important, but it's the candidate, what the surrogates are saying, how you're performing in debates. All that matters. So if Trump is doing his job, there's so much material to work with, so much. It will punch through. And this is one of his political upsides, right? I mean, this is the foremost showman and communicator in our time. So if anyone can get above the media smog, it's him.
It's not even Labor Day yet, and I got to think you got to keep your powder dry at this point. I want to see what she says tonight, how this thing goes, and then you make your move. I mean, you really start going for it after Labor Day.
Yeah,
What's
but
changed?
you know they're not exactly firing on all cylinders yet, but I think they've gotten better. And I wouldn't be too excited about her totally falling on her face in this interview. I don't know how long it's going to be. You know, probably not much longer than 20 minutes. Waltz is going to be there. She's going to be prepared to the gills, and they're going to try to say if she comes out at okay, you know, there's your interview. You said she can't do interviews. She did one.
Yeah, I know, right? This
third by any standard.
Of course,
standard.
this is an event. A presidential nominee does an interview with a member of the press corps. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're doing the moon landing and having a joint interview with the CNN anchor.
Right. Yeah, right. It's not, it's not Mark Levin either. I mean, right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a friendly. I'm still trying to get my handle on RFK Jr. and his potential impact on the race. And I would add Nicole Shanahan, too, because I continue to think she could be an interesting surrogate. And this is not seismic, but, it races, states that could be decided by 10,000 votes. We're operating on the fringes here. And I just wanted to get your take on the RFK Jr. endorsement rollout and how impactful you think he and potentially his former running mate will be.
I think it can make a difference. It's going to be a small one, but small could matter. But my take on his vote always was that it was going to disappear. These are the most disaffected people. The likelihood of a lot of them showing up in the polls was slim, and the likelihood of them following JFK's specific directions about where they should go is also slim. All that said, it doesn't need to be a percent in some of these states. It could just be 2,000 votes in Wisconsin or Michigan and Pennsylvania, and it could matter. So, yeah, you want that endorsement. You want to make the most of it. It's not like, the 5 points is being directly transferred to you, but some thousands of voters could be, and it could matter.
The other thing, too, it seems to me that Trump has done effectively, and perhaps the failed assassination attempt was part of this, is, all the talk of him being a Hitler and this and that, the usual silliness. That's largely, not completely, but it's largely subsided. At the convention, it wasn't he's Hitler, Pol Pot, Stalin. It was he's a disreputable person. He's a bad person. He's disqualified because he's a bad person. He's a convicted felon. They didn't even use convicted felon that much, which was interesting. It's more just he's a bad person. You don't like him and you shouldn't like him and you can't vote for somebody you don't like and you like me because I'm full of joy. That was basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's smarter. I think the whole threat to democracy thing was ridiculous. I think, you know my views on January 6th, but I think that's been kind of played out. And,
right.
and they did some of that, at the convention. But most of it was, look, he wants to cut taxes for the rich. He wants to cut Social Security and Medicare, which he doesn't. And he only cares about himself. And these are plausible cases you can make against them. And, again, it's a character case. And they use – like the tax cuts for the rich, they use it to make a character case. He only cares about people like himself. So that's what Trump needs to be doing to her.
Rich Lowry is the editor of National Review. He's also the author of The Case for Nationalism, How It Made Us Powerful, United, and Free. Rich, thanks as always.
Thanks, gentlemen. Talk soon.
Rich joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560. The Answer.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
The price of gas and oil remains strong, and Goldman Sachs predicts the growth in demand to keep growing for years to come. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. become more energy independent while utilizing your tax savings for 2024. Your patriotic investment may generate monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you are an SEC accredited investor and can make a $200,000 investment, you can deduct nearly 100% of this investment in 2024. Call 1-800-278-7455. Investing in Encore Energy is an operator direct investment in horizontal oil drilling and production technology in an area of proven production where more than 100 wells have been drilled. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment for 2024. Call 1-800-278-7455. That's 1-800-278-7455.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
he was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Dennis Prager here. Join me on an unforgettable cruise to the Caribbean this November. We'll cruise to the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, Turks and Caicos, and much more. We'll be joined by special guest Sean McDowell, and we'll both be sharing insights into current events in a way I hope energizes and challenges you. Secure your spot before space runs out by calling 855-565-5519 or book online at PragerCruise.com.
Hi, it's Scott Tucker, host of Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker, heard on AM 560 on Sundays at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. I want to offer you a free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? To get your free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Just go to retirementdakota.com. That's retirementdakota.com. And please listen every Sunday at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560 listeners, sign up today to receive a free financial education video series, The 5 Retirement Pitfalls and How to Avoid Them, courtesy of Steve Shyman, host of Protecting Your Assets radio show, Saturdays at 8 a.m. Sign up is easy, and the 5-part video series is completely free and will arrive in your email inbox. Sign up today. It's free. Please text your name and email address to 833-945-7283. Again, please text your name and email address to 833-945-7283.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Dennis Prager, weekdays at noon Eastern, followed by Jay and Jordan Sekulow at 2. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Xumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Xumo.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. With the Democratic National Convention behind us, and as Election Day is coming fast, we need to recognize what we've been watching. It's an attempt at rebranding. Kamala Harris has been politically rebranded, and, in political terms, you'd have to say with enormous success. And with the complicity of the mainstream media, they're basically trying to make her the next president of the United States. It's almost as if the instructions for the Kamala Harris nomination are just add water and stir, because that's pretty much what the Democrats have done. It all just shows how determined they, that means the Democrats and their elite media allies, are to reverse what they had expected as a blowout loss with Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. But if you want to know why the Democrats are so excited, it's also because of this. Younger Democrats understand that they win if Kamala Harris wins. They didn't feel that way about Joe Biden. Harris, they know, is a San Francisco Democrat, far to the left of Joe Biden. The American electorate had better pay attention, and it better pay attention quickly. I'm Albert Mohler.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Charles Thomas sitting in for Amy. And Charles, you made an interesting point off air. You don't think they think Kamala can win?
No, I don't think. I think they're desperate. The Democrats are desperate. She is their candidate because they really didn't have a choice. If they had replaced her with a white male at the top of the ticket, the black voters and women voters would have abandoned them in droves. They're keeping her there because she's their only choice and their only chance to maintain control of the House of Representatives. The down ballot.
To get control.
The down ballot. Yeah, to get control. The down ballot races are so. They'll lose them. They would have lost down ballot like you wouldn't believe if they didn't have this woman of color, the vice president, running at the top of the ticket.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, I mean, if it really is like, well, this is the shot we got to take, so we'll do our best. But worst case scenario, we hold the Senate. Maybe we can claw back the House, but we don't suffer catastrophic losses in the legislative branch. And then, look, he's a lame duck. If we control the Senate, we can stall him for 4 years. And frankly, it moves Kamala out of the picture for 28 to get somebody that we think would be better and embark, and get us embarked upon a couple of terms or more, right?
That's my story.
Possible.
And I'm sticking to it. I just can't believe that Kamala Harris could be the president of the United States of America. She's done nothing to convince me of that.
Yeah, I know. I want to settle, and I want the Trump campaign to settle on the handle for her, like we were talking about with Rich Lowry. And I think it's still a little unsettled. And I still that debate, as we were talking about with Lowry. Yeah, I don't keep the expectations high.
But there's so
keep
much,
the expectations high.
Dan, there's so much material out there. This woman on tape saying all this stuff. She's playing herself in the Trump campaign ads.
Charles Thomas has the last word. Thank you for joining us. It is now 9 a.m. AM 560 WIND.
Pressure's on. I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. A lot riding on Kamala Harris' first sit-down interview tonight.